Section 81. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After Wang Hao captured several spies from the Yi family, he also understood that a war was coming. My suggestion is to take all the monks back to Wangjiling, and give up the rest of the places if you can. Keep the green hills and don't worry about running out of firewood. You have to give up even Ruojuan Mountain. Wang Yanjue, who had just built the foundation, felt a little distressed. He was reluctant to give up the Qingyuanfang store he had been running for several years, let alone a spiritual mountain. Wang Yanzhao touched his newly grown beard and muttered, "This kind of loss is a bit big. Now that we have 5 foundation builders, should we divide the defense temporarily? If one place is attacked, we can provide support. No, it's okay if Wangjiling is attacked. The defenses here are perfect. Even if 5 or 6 foundations come to attack, they can temporarily resist it. But what if the enemy attacks Ruojuan Mountain first? The distance between the 2 places will take a day even with full flight. Can you hold on?" Wang Longyu looked at Wang Hao and affirmed, "I agree with Wang Hao, just stop being disturbed and give up the rest." Wang Hao smiled, "Actually, when necessary, we can even give up Wangjiling." "What? The tribe and the land are going to give up?" These words made Wang Longyu frown a little. Chapter 157 Preemptive Strike. Wang Hao explained, "Everyone, please be patient. Think about it. According to what the spies said, there are 6 families and more than 20 foundation builders who attacked Qingyuanfang this time. There is also one foundation builder supported by the Burning Sky sect. Later monk. It's okay if they divide their forces to attack, but what if we concentrate our efforts to attack a few companies? Who among us can withstand it? The alchemy inheritance of my Wang family is still very attractive, and I'm afraid it will cause serious trouble." Wang Yanzhao began to think deeply after hearing this. He immediately raised his head, looked at Wang Hao and said, "Do you mean that our 5 families will join forces together?" "That's right. In this way, no matter whether the enemy divides his troops or joins them together, he won't be able to do anything to us in a short time." "I'm afraid this won't work," Wang Longyu analyzed, "this is not our family's business. Even if we are willing to give up our clan land, it will be difficult to convince other families." Wang Hao thought about it. "The monks can run away, but many resources on the clan land cannot be taken away, such as spiritual plants. These have been cultivated by the families for decades or even hundreds of years. It is not nonsense to let them give up." "What? Besides, if the 5 families join forces in one place, where can they join forces? There is probably a place to stay, so which one should I choose? It will take a long time to argue. The key point is that the 5 families are all second-order spiritual mountains. Without the third-order spiritual mountains, so many monks gathered in one spiritual vein cannot support them at all." Wang Hao lamented, shook his head and said, "In this case, we have to take the initiative and weaken part of their strength first, so that we can get rid of the passive situation of being beaten, otherwise the initiative will always be in their hands. I think this plan is feasible. The other 4 families must also know that they cannot defend themselves separately, but they can't bear to leave their own clans together, so they can only strike preemptively." Wang Longyu was the first to agree. Wang Yanzhao, Wang Yanji and others also agreed. "Without further delay, I will trouble my 6th uncle to contact the other 3 families. I will contact the Li family and try to get 2 foundation building monks from each family and 10 clan members in the late stage of Qi training. With such an elite team, even if the attack does not go well, we can get back safely." Wang Hao and others started taking action after catching the spies. The 4 families also caught many spies. It didn't take much effort for the Wang family to convince them to agree to the preemptive plan. At this time, the Yi family and others were still waiting for the Burning Sky sect. Command, unaware of the danger that was about to befall them, the 5 families have been united to resist the monsters for many years, and there is still a tacit understanding. This crisis involves the survival of each family. No one is hiding their own secrets, and they have sent out their strongest lineups. The Wang family even sent out 3 foundation builders, led by Wang Hao, Wang Longyu, and Wang Yanji. Among the Qi practitioners, there was Wang Yanpeng, a perfect Qi practitioner who failed to build the foundation. The family left Wang Yanzhao and Wang Wenyuan to sit in the formation. Wang Yanzhao with rich experience, the monks in his family can rest assured that even if they are attacked before Wang Hao comes back, they can defend for a while with the help of their large formation. For the Li family, Li Yaozu and Li Durong came. Li Yaozu's face was full of bitterness. In the past few years, the Li family's luck had been good. They had obtained foundation building pills one after another. A total of 6 members of the clan had successfully built foundations one after another, and their strength had greatly increased. If they were given dozens more in the year, these foundation building monks have grown up, and their Li family will definitely usher in great development. Even if the Yi family does not start a war by then, they will start to seize territory. It's a pity that time waits for no one. Now 3 of the Li family's foundation builders are overseas, and there are 5 foundation builders left in the family. However, 2 of them have recently taken the foundation building pill brought back by Li Durong to build the foundation. Their strength is limited, so he brought his experience with him. Li Durong, who was relatively rich, came, leaving 1 mid-stage foundation builder and 2 early-stage foundation builders to guard the family. Fellow Daoist Wang, we have all discussed it. This time we have to move quickly. If we can defeat 2 or 3 companies, the crisis will be resolved. As for the distribution of benefits, whoever contributes more will get more. What do you think? Lei Liheng narrowed his eyes and asked with a smile, the 6 Maple Leaf Fong families are not weak in strength and have been in business for many years. They are indeed a piece of fat. However, they do not have the teeth to swallow up Maple Leaf Fong. They just have the mentality of grabbing a sum and leaving. In Lei Liheng's view, he is a foundation builder. In the later stage, even if the Wang family sends 3 foundation builders, the effect may not be as good as his alone. The Lei family will definitely get the lion's share. Okay, I agree, but we are not here to grab resources. Fellow Taoists, please don't put the cart before the horse. Don't do anything wrong for a few resources. Wang Longyu said with a righteous face. With him and Wang Hao in the Wang family, there is one more foundation building person than other families. In this way, not only can they share more benefits, but if there is any change, it will be easier to deal with. He is not afraid of other people doing something weird. Lei Liheng smiled slightly and nodded in agreement. Everyone is here. Wang Longyu glanced around, we have to act as soon as possible. It will be difficult for us to act until the people of Maple Leaf Square gather together. Even if we break through their family and get the resources, they are still strong and can fight back. The Zhao family hasn't come yet. Li Yaozu replied. Lei Liheng's face was calm, and he explained, what's so strange about this? The Zhao family is far away, maybe they were delayed on the way, just wait a little longer. After the Wang family and the Li family walked in, the other 3 families also united. In recent years, there have been many marriages, and the Lei family is the leader. Naturally, he has to excuse the Zhao family. Lei Daoyu is right. The journey is long and we were delayed for a while. Sorry. A somewhat generous voice suddenly sounded, and as soon as the voice fell, Zhao Gaofeng and Zhao Gaoquan came over with the cultivators of the Zhao family. Okay, now that everyone is here, let's start discussing the attack route. According to our intelligence, the Xuanhuan family among the 6 families in Maple Leaf Square is the front line, and there may be people from other families stationed there. It is best not to take the risk to touch them. Among the other 5 families, the Beishan Su family, the Fengqinghe family, and the Hongfeng Lake Valley family are relatively strong, and they are likely to be the main force attacking us this time. My opinion is to at least defeat one of them. We have 11 foundation building cultivators, and senior Lei in the late foundation building period. Even the strongest Hongfeng Lake Valley family is not our opponent. Wang Hao spoke slowly. As the initiator of this strategy, Wang Hao is naturally qualified to say these words. The Wang and Li families will naturally listen to him. Even if the other three families don't listen, they won't make a fuss on the surface, but different opinions still need to be expressed. After nearly an hour of discussion, everyone reached a consensus to attack the Hongfeng Lake Valley family, which is closer, first, and then go west to defeat the neighboring Xi family. The Xi family has only 2 foundation-building cultivators, which is easier, then it depends on the situation. If the 6 families in Maple Leaf Square don't react, then they will continue to fight the He family. If they are alert, everyone will stop and retreat in time. Without the 6 foundation builders from the 2 families, the strength of Maple Leaf Square is far inferior to that of Qingniu Square. As long as they are not brainless, this war will not start. The Gu family of Hongfeng Lake has been passed down for more than 800 years, which is longer than the history of the 5 families in Qingniu Square. The family is located on the shore of Hongfeng Lake, and the industry is mainly around Hongfeng Lake. It took the 5 families 10 days to rush to the Gu family's territory, mainly because they had to act covertly, which affected the speed. Lei Liheng took the initiative to ask the Lei family to be the main force to attack the Gu family's station. Fellow Daoist Wang, fellow Daoist Li, the Black Wind Mountain and Qinglu Peak of the Gu family are both second-level spiritual veins. Your 2 families are not weak, so why don't you attack these 2 places? Like the Wang family, the Gu family will not concentrate all the foundation building in one place. They will definitely station a foundation building cultivator in the core industry. Therefore, the 5 families will not all attack the Red Maple Lake of the Gu family. There are 2 other points that need to be taken into account, so at least 2 of them will be divided. Chapter 158 Benefits and Ambush. Lei Liheng wanted to seize the main attack, naturally aiming for more benefits. They had decided before that the main attack would definitely encounter great resistance and great risks, so they would have to share 10% more benefits and have the right of priority selection. Besides, once they enter the Gu family's residence, who knows how many good things they have obtained. Hiding is inevitable, and the resources they get after a while will be much more than others. Lei Liheng led the Zhao and Qing families to attack Hongfeng Lake, while the Wang and Li families attacked the other 2 second-level spiritual veins of the Gu family. Although Hongfeng Lake was the old nest of the Gu family, there must be a lot of resources, but if they were divided among the 3 families, they might not get more than the Wang and Li families. Li Yaozu certainly didn't think so. According to convention, there would only be 1 foundation-building cultivator stationed at the 2 spiritual mountains, but who knew whether it was the late or early stage of foundation building. Moreover, there were large formations and a large number of Qi-training cultivators. Their Li family only had 12 people in total, and this number of people might not be enough to take it down. Lei Daoyu, we are here to weaken the power of the Gu family. We will attack Hongfeng Lake with all our strength. Can't we clean up the other 2 places after we take Hongfeng Lake? Wang Longyu said in a deep voice, this Gu family has a formation inheritance, and the formation must be strong. It is indeed not appropriate for us to divide our forces. Lei Liheng didn't care. Why should the 2 Taoists boost others' ambitions and destroy their own prestige? My Lei family is not a vegetarian, he said, taking out 2 magic weapons, which looked to have reached the level of the 2nd level upper grade, but were obviously broken. Lei Liheng said, this is a self-destructing spiritual weapon, and its power is not much less than that of the array-breaking talisman. I'll give these 2 to you too, so that you can break the array. Wang Longyu wanted to say something but was stopped by Wang Hao. Lei Liheng made his attitude clear. He definitely wanted to inherit the array, but he didn't want the Wang and Li families to get it. As expected, once it involves the distribution of interests, problems are most likely to occur. Wang Hao smiled and said, in this case, let's go to Qinglu Peak. After reaching a unified opinion, they acted separately. Then we will act together after dark tomorrow. Lei Liheng left this sentence and took the Qing family and the Zhao family to Hongfeng Lake first. Wang Hao looked at their backs and shook his head helplessly, and said to Li Yaozu and Li Durong, with our small number of men, if we attack one place, it is easy to capture them, but if they are separated, accidents may easily occur. My opinion is that we capture them first. Qinglu Peak, how about going to Heifeng Mountain together? We can get 50% of the income. Li Durong was slightly startled. Wang Hao was obviously taking care of their Li family. After all, the Wang family had 3 foundation builders, but he wanted to share the income equally with them. She wanted to refuse, but Li Yaozu was the first to agree. Young friend Wang still knows the general idea. It's already this time, and those 3 families are still fighting for benefits. The disdain in his eyes was not concealed, and then he took out a dozen magic talismans. He smiled and said, I won't let the Wang family suffer. The Li family has the magic talisman for this attack. Wang Longyu nodded. In that case, let's set off too. The 2 families planned carefully and wanted to join forces and take Qinglu Peak with a thunderous force, but God's calculations were not as good as God's calculations. When they arrived at Qinglu Peak, they found a group of people riding up the mountain, and they looked like they were wearing the same clothes as Gu. Home people, this news was like a bolt from the blue, making everyone's heart skip a beat. Did the Gu family get the news and strengthen their defenses in advance? Li Yaozu asked in confusion. It doesn't look like this. They don't act in a panic. They don't seem to be here for support. Wang Hao pondered for a while. They were originally planning to attack us. Are they gathering clan members at this time? And this Qinglu Peak just a rally point? All eyes were focused on Wang Hao. It's very possible that that team of monks came from the west. Isn't the west where Black Wind Mountain is? Wang Longyu also came to his senses and suppressed the panic in his heart. Li Yaozu also breathed a sigh of relief. This will save us trouble. If we take down Qinglu Peak, Black Wind Mountain will not be afraid at all. But with the increase in their manpower, it will be much more difficult to attack Qinglu Peak. Li Durong frowned. Although they had 5 foundation building monks, they had nearly 100 Qi training monks, which was not easy to fight. Wang Hao stared at Qinglu Peak in the distance for a while, and then he thought about it. We might as well wait for a day. Since these people are here to gather, they will definitely not stay at Qinglu Peak for a long time. They will definitely go there. Hongfeng Lake or Yi family's Xuanhuan Mountain, we only need to set up an ambush on the road to destroy them. Isn't it much easier than attacking the mountain? Hearing this, everyone's eyes lit up. It was indeed the case. Moreover, when Lei Liheng's side attacked Hongfeng Lake, they might also receive news and they would definitely provide support. In this way, even if it was still early for the Gu family's monks to set out, they would still be able to do so. It doesn't take long to ambush. But, aren't we going to break the promise? We promised Lei Liheng to attack together at night. Wang Hao sneered. As long as we don't let a person from the Gu family go to support Hongfeng Lake, it won't be considered a breach of contract. If the people from Qinglu Peak don't support us, we will attack the next day. It's just a matter of waiting one more night. After the plan was decided and the 5 people had no objections, Wang Hao and others hid in a mountain forest. This was the only way from Qinglu Peak to Hongfeng Lake. They also left spies in other directions just in case. In the middle of the night, a sword light flew from a distance. Wen Hao, fellow Taoist Li, someone is coming. There are 2 foundation building monks and more than 70 Qi refining monks. The person responsible for monitoring at Qinglu Peak is Wang Longyu, who has the highest level of cultivation. All eyes were focused on Wang Hao. In fact, Wang Hao had become the leader of the Wang and Li families. Kill out directly. There was a trace of nervousness in Li Durong's voice. There's nothing to say, get ready to fight. Wang Hao gave the order without any thought or need for consideration. The enemy is not as strong as us. Once they get out of that turtle shell at Qinglu Peak, their fate is already sealed. Wang Hao quickly showed his decisive and capable side. Uncle Yanji, your cultivation level is relatively low, just cooperate with the Qi practicing tribe to deal with the other Qi practicing monks. Seniorly, you and the 6th uncle will deal with the mid-level foundation establishment monk. Fellow Taoist Durong, let's deal with another Gu family foundation builder. Now everyone is hiding in the illusion formation. When the opponent gets close, wait for my order and attack with all our strength. We must seize the opportunity. Everyone obeyed the order and hid themselves. After a moment, a group of Gu family members in yellow robes appeared in everyone's sight. 2 foundation-building monks were on guard at high altitude. 70 Qi training monks followed them on the ground using light body techniques, and there were more than a dozen horses as mounts. But judging from its speed, it only looks like a first-order mid-range one. They looked in a hurry, and Wang Hao guessed that they must have received news of the attack on Red Maple Lake. It was only about 10,000 miles away from the Red Maple Valley. At this distance, the second-level high-grade communication talisman could completely contact them. Attention! Kill some low-level monks first to reduce the pressure on our tribe, and then join forces to deal with the foundation-building monks. Wang Hao made arrangements in a low voice, but the other party was busy walking and didn't even notice Wang Hao and others hidden in the magic formation in the mountain forest. Do it! Seeing the enemy approaching, Wang Hao shouted. Without hesitation, everyone in the Wang and Li families shot out various magic weapons, talismans, and seals from the illusion array, instantly causing heavy damage to the Gu family monks who were on their way, and 2 of them fell on the spot. There were more than 10 people, and some monks' heads were blown open. The scene was extremely bloody. Wang Hao saw several beautiful female monks lying in a pool of blood with his own eyes. He couldn't bear it. This was not the first time for him to kill someone, but it was the first time he killed someone. For the first time, in the past, others wanted his life, so he just passively fought back and killed without any guilt. Even in the Danding sect, it was Qin who dealt with his clansmen first, and then he decided to kill. Chapter 159 Careless Injury. Keep an eye on your respective opponents. Don't let any of them go. But since their Gu family wanted to take over Qingyafang, Wang Hao had no choice but to send them away first. Section 82. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The second round of attacks followed, and several more members of the Gu family fell. Seeing that the Gu family had suffered heavy losses and their numerical advantage was no longer great, and the victory of this battle was determined, Wang Hao couldn't help but feel relieved. The panicked Gu family built its foundation and flew down from the sky, but was blocked by Wang Hao and others. Li Yaozu and Li Durong had already laid an ambush, and now they were flying into the air to block their retreat. Even if they wanted to escape, they had no chance. You are from Qingyafang. Although the 2 families belong to 2 Jindan forces, their geographical location determines that they have a lot of exchanges and know each other, not to mention the Wang and Li families. No change, you can recognize it at a glance. Since fellow Daoist Gu has recognized you, just stay. Since you have thoughts that you shouldn't have, you must have this awareness. Wang Longyu snorted coldly. Ah, elder, save me. On the ground, the monks from the Wang and Li families were constantly harvesting the lives of the Gu family under the command of Wang Yanji. Intentionally and unintentionally, the Gu family monks panicked even though there were many people. He was defeated step by step. Those who were lucky enough to survive hurriedly put up their own defenses, tried their best to activate their spiritual power, and struggled to hold on, unable to fight back at all. Seeing the enemy falling like wheat, the monks from the Wang and Li families were extremely excited. However, killing people is different from killing monsters. Many of them looked pale, and their hands holding magic weapons and talismans could not help but tremble. Ah! An old Gigi of the Gu family saw the tragic death of his clan members, and went crazy and screamed in despair like a wild beast, "You beasts! I will fight with you." His eyes were red, and regardless of Wang Hao and Li Durong's attacks, he plunged headlong into the Wang and Li Qi training monks on the ground. Stop him! Li Durong exclaimed. Wang Hao sacrificed and unearthed a muddy seal, which swelled in the wind and protected the people behind him like a hill. No, this person is going to self-destruct. Foundation-building monks can also self-destruct, but compared to the nuclear explosion-like power of Jindan monks, it is much smaller, but the power of the explosion is not something that Qi-refining monks can withstand. Even Wang Hao in the middle stage of foundation building, there will also be dangers. Let's die together. The old monk of the Gu family howled completely crazily. His whole body swelled up, like a balloon blown up. It swelled to 5 times its original size in a moment. His skin cracked, revealing a crimson violent spiritual power. Suddenly it shrank suddenly, and then exploded. The terrifying true energy mixed with flesh and blood on his body quickly attacked the surroundings, and its power was already greater than the full blow of a peak-level foundation-building monk. Wang Hao originally wanted to launch a spiritual attack, but the opponent had already self-destructed, and the spiritual attack had no effect. Uncle Yanzhao, hold up your shield. Wang Yanzhui, who was participating in the battle between foundations for the first time, was obviously frightened by the Gu family monk's desperate fighting style. He was stunned on the spot. After Wang Hao's reminder, only then did he remember to hold up his defensive weapon. A yellow light shield was superimposed in front of everyone. At this time, the shock wave of self-destruction also arrived. Boom! That with a loud noise like a landslide, Wang Yanzhao's red kite escape was exploded without a moment's support, and Wang Hao's mud seal also flew backwards. The ground was in a mess, and all the monks from the Wang and Li families fell to the ground motionless. Even Wang Hao was blasted dozens of feet away. After falling to the ground, he felt a little confused and spit out a large mouthful of blood. He wanted to stand up, but there was severe pain in many places on his body, and he staggered twice and collapsed to the ground. I am afraid that several bones were broken by the explosion. He is a practitioner of both law and body. His bones are much harder than ordinary monks, so they were also broken by the explosion. You can imagine how powerful the explosion just now was. Careless. Wang Hao secretly regretted it in his heart. He only felt that his own strength was far superior to that of the opponent and he could easily win. He did not expect that the foundation-building monks would explode with such power under their desperate efforts. In the past, Wang Hao encountered many opponents who were stronger than him, but they all thought they could easily defeat Wang Hao. They had a cat-and-mouse mentality in their minds, and were accidentally killed by Wang Hao. Now it's the other way around. Li Durong, who was in the air, saw the tragic situation on the ground, and quickly ran down anxiously. He saw that Wang Hao's robe had been broken into pieces, and only some damaged cloth strips were left on his body. However, he did not hesitate to send a spiritual light. Penetrate into Wang Hao's body and help Wang Hao stabilize his injuries. With Li Durong's help, Wang Hao felt more relaxed after swallowing a pill. I'm fine, go and save the others. Wang Hao endured the pain, put on the robe that Li Durong handed over, and struggled to help the tribesmen with Li Durong. Wang Yanji's face was blank at this moment. Wang Hao checked it out. Fortunately, his life was not in danger. It was just that the magic weapon was destroyed instantly and the backlash was stronger. Coupled with the power of self-destruction, he was unconscious. Awake. After feeding him the healing elixir, Wang Yanji waited for a while before he woke up. Seeing the miserable condition of his people, Wang Yanji felt extremely guilty and couldn't help but cry bitterly. It's all my fault. I was frightened by the enemy. If I had taken good defense, I would never have been like this. At this moment, the Gu family chi practitioners in the distance got a chance to breathe. They did not flee. The self-destruction style of the Foundation establishment elder aroused their blood, and they began to arrange formations and launch attacks. Over the years, they have been arranging clan members to practice battle formations under the instructions of the Burning Sky sect. Although they have not experienced actual combat, they are definitely much better than fighting alone. With a whoosh, a spiritual arrow was shot out, and Pop sank into the chest of a member of the Wang family. He was standing in the back row, and the impact was smaller, so he only fainted for a moment and then woke up on his own. Unexpectedly, he just stood up. He was shot by an enemy arrow. 23rd brother. Wang Yanji shouted in pain. Uncle Yanji, cheer up, pick up the magic weapon, kill them all, and avenge the clan, instead of just sighing here. When they complete the formation, even we will be in danger. Wang Hao couldn't help but scolded. Wang Yanji was stunned for a moment, and then he woke up. His eyes were red, but his energy was much better than before. In his current state, even if he couldn't kill the enemy, there was no need for Wang Hao to protect him. In fact, Wang Hao's the one at the front was injured more severely than Wang Yanjui. He couldn't even use his spiritual power at this moment. However, he had strong willpower and could still hold on. If Wang Yanjue returned to normal, he would at least be able to do it reluctantly. The Gu family's battle formation was arranged, and various spells were shot out from the middle. Fortunately, Li Durong was not injured, and she used her methods to seal off the battles one by one. However, she was in the early stage of foundation building, and she couldn't do anything about the battle formation formed by more than 40 Qi practitioners on the other side. This formation is not only capable of attacking, but also has an extremely thick protective shield that cannot be broken through by monks in the early stages of foundation building, but it is not without its shortcomings. The battle formation relies on the spiritual power supply of the monks themselves. To maintain defense, they must also attack. Such spiritual power must be consumed a lot. The foundation building monks spent a while with them, but the foundation building monks still won in the end. Li Yaozu and Wang Longyu were restrained by another foundation architect from the Gu family. That foundation architect was also extremely smart. When he saw the situation on the ground, he immediately escaped from a distance. In this way, Wang Longyu and Li Yaozu had to follow up and could not support Wang. How many people? Li Durong wanted to defend against the attack from the Gu family's battle formation, but was unable to fight back. Wang Hao wanted to throw the talisman, but was injured and spit out a mouthful of blood. Obviously, he could not do it in a short time. Chapter 160 Breaking the Situation. Hahaha, they can't hold on anymore, work harder, kill them to avenge the elders. A late-stage Qi training monk from the Gu family yelled crazily, holding a spiritual crossbow, and greeted Wang Hao with all his strength. While launching an attack, he stuffed the elixir into his mouth to restore his spiritual power. What can we do? Wang Yanji was originally a spiritual weapon, but now it was destroyed. He only had a first-level magic weapon in his hand. Attacking the enemy's formation was just a thunderclap and had no effect at all. Wang Hao looked around the audience, and a war of attrition began to form. I didn't expect that the dangerous situation in the past could be easily resolved, but now the battle that was originally easy has fallen into a passive situation. Is this his fault? Is it to blame that he didn't use the spirit beast puppet and other trump cards at the beginning? But which monk would use all the means from the beginning? Besides, the fact that he would self-destruct as soon as they met was so unpredictable. Wang Hao's brain was running wildly, thinking about how to break the situation, but at this moment, he couldn't do anything at all. He couldn't even release the spiritual talisman and the spiritual beast. How could he have any countermeasures? Wang Hao, let your clan uncle use spiritual talismans to attack the opponent's battle formation. Li Durong threw a few spiritual talismans, and her words were like a wake-up call, which made Wang Hao startled. Yes, I only thought about breaking the situation on my own, but the key to breaking the situation at this moment is obviously Wang Yanjue, who still has some fighting strength. Wang Yanjue had just established his foundation, and his only spiritual weapon was one distributed by his family, which was destroyed just now, not even a single second-level talisman. Wang Hao picked up the magic talisman, threw it hard, and shouted, "Uncle Yanji, catch it and use the magic talisman to attack the enemy." Wang Yanju pinched the magic spell in his hand and hurriedly collected Wang Hao's spiritual talisman. Then the magic spell changed, and 2 spiritual talismans flew out. 100-knife talisman transformed into hundreds of flying knives, and a water needle talisman began to condense in the sky. Needle. Rumble, the attack of the spiritual talisman continued to consume the power of the battle formation's protective shield. For a moment, the face of the Gu family monk who was delivering spiritual power to the protective shield became labored, and Wang Yanji threw out a fire rain talisman again. Puff, puff, puff. The formation did not break, but several Gu family monks who were sending spiritual power could no longer hold on. In an instant, several monks vomited blood and fell to the ground. The text is for personal study and trial reading only. Please delete it within 24 hours after downloading. If you like this resource, please purchase the genuine version. Thank you for your cooperation. Other Gu family Qi training monks hurriedly added in and defended with all their strength, but in this way, their attacks became sparse. It's now Li Durong held up a protective shield and resisted the sparse attacks from the battle formation. His hands transformed into hand seals, and a red flying sword flew out like a sharp arrow. The flying sword turned into a rainbow and hit the formation screen hard, making a huge metallic roar, and several Gu family monks were shocked to death. After all, there is a huge gap between Qi training monks and foundation building monks. Even if they can block it with their formation, the counterattack force is enough to kill them. Elder, what should we do? We can't stand it anymore. The fierce offensive made the Gu family monks lose their morale again. A Gu family elder at the 9th level of Qi training stood up and looked at the tragic death of his clan members. His eyes were about to burst. He raised the magic weapon in his hand and said loudly, "In my Gu family's inheritance, no clan member has ever surrendered. Today we will fight tooth and nail to make these enemies feel uncomfortable. The 3rd elder is our role model. Brother Gu family, charge with me." He understood that facing so many foundation-building monks, they had no chance of survival today. Instead of being killed in the battle formation, it was better to rush over and replace as many Qi training monks as possible. So they stopped defending and began to attack with all their strength. Several Gu family disciples were suspected of taking some kind of medicine similar to the burning blood pill. Their strength increased instantly, and they attacked crazily with red eyes. In order to protect their clansmen, Li Durong and Wang Yanji could only passively defend themselves again. However, the opponent was already a trapped beast still fighting. It was a fool's errand to break through the defenses set up by the 2 foundation-building monks, and defeat would be a matter of time. The gentle breeze in the mountain forest was mixed with the strong smell of blood, which was particularly tragic. Time kept passing, and the battle was coming to an end. When there were less than 20 Gu family monks in the battle array, they had become lambs to be slaughtered. Li Durong and Wang Yanji waved their flying swords and kept killing them one by one. "Wang family, Li family, I will remember you, even if I become a ghost." The curses became less and less, and weaker and weaker. "Go to hell." Wang Yanji rushed directly into the battle array. Finally, as the last Gu family monk was killed, there was no sound in the battle array. This was the most tragic battle Wang Hao had ever experienced. Although there were dangerous moments before, whether fighting or fleeing, the enemy did not have the resilience of the Gu family monks. In order to supply energy to the battle array, many Gu family monks were drained of their spiritual power and died silently on the spot. Their bodies were drained into a dry corpse, but they held the magic formula until death, and were hideous and resentful. Wang Hao never wanted to meet such an opponent again. "Ha ha ha, die, all of you." Wang Yanji laughed like crazy for a few times, and then his body sank and he fainted. He was seriously injured, and he had been fighting for so long. He was very likely to have injured his origin as he had just established his foundation. Wang Hao regretted that he should not have brought this uncle with him, but if Wang Yanji had not been in this battle, he might have died. "Uncle 10. Wang Hao hurried over to help him up, and called him several times in a row, but there was no movement. He felt his pulse and felt relieved. He must have been injured, but the general reason for fainting should not be caused by just serious injuries. Thinking of Wang Yanji's previous state, he was in great sorrow and joy, so it would be good to sleep. Li Durong flew over and asked with concern, "Is your uncle okay?" "Not bad," Wang Hao smiled thankfully. He fainted because his spiritual power was exhausted and his emotions were a little out of control, but he still needs to be nursed for a year or two. "What about you?" Li Durong stared at Wang Hao. "I'm fine, just a few broken bones, and my meridians are slightly damaged. It looks serious, so I can't move for a short time, but my dantian is not damaged, so it will recover quickly." If Wang Hao hadn't practiced both magic and body, he would have been killed directly this time. Wang Hao began to sit cross-legged to heal his wounds, while Li Durong led the awakened clansmen to treat the wounded and clean up the battlefield. After a while, Li Yaozu and Wang Longyu brought back the body of another foundation-building cultivator from the Gu family. Even though they had prepared themselves mentally, they were still shocked by the tragic battlefield, and were even more grief-stricken after seeing the bodies of several clansmen. Chapter 83. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Everyone decided to simply rest for a while and wait until most of the clansmen recovered their ability to move before going to Qinglu Peak. More than an hour later, Wang Hao moved the broken bones back to their original positions. The monks recovered much faster than ordinary people. With the help of the elixir, although they were not restored to the same state as before, their spiritual power was able to function and their mobility was initially restored. Wang Yanji also woke up at this time. His face was as white as paper. He glanced around with wide eyes, and finally landed on Wang Hao. He was relieved to see that although Wang Hao was weak, he was not in fear of his life. "It's great that you're okay, Wang Hao. It was Uncle Ten who held you back this time and caused you harm." Wang Hao smiled after hearing this. He was afraid that Wang Yanji would be disturbed and mentally disturbed, but looking at his expression, it was clear that Wang Hao didn't need to worry. "Uncle Ten, don't feel guilty. It's just some superficial wounds on my part. But Uncle Ten, you need to rest for a while." Wang Yanjue did not exchange greetings with Wang Hao. Instead, he looked at the other tribesmen and found that there were 3 corpses and the remaining 7 people were all injured. He couldn't help but feel sad and tears fell down. When he saw Wang Yanpeng's body, he burst into tears and grief. How could this happen? How could Yanpeng die because of his strength? Wang Yanpeng has taken the foundation establishment pill. Although he has not established the foundation, he has reached the great perfection of qi training, and his strength is several times stronger than that of ordinary 9th-level qi training monks. Chapter 161 Set Afire. Wang Yanpa was standing aside at this time and replied, "10th brother, Yanpeng was unlucky. A fragment of a magic weapon was swept to his head." After he finished speaking, he realized that Wang Hao was staring at him fiercely, and he quickly shut up. The only thing that was exploded at that time was Wang Yanji's magical weapon. There was no need to guess who the fragment belonged to. "It's all my fault, it's all me." Wang Yanji punched his chest. Wang Yanpa also knew that he had said the wrong thing, so he lowered his head and hid aside. Wang Hao sighed and asked, "Uncle Ten, if you want to say this, I was the one who initiated this operation. Do I have to be blamed for the deaths of these people?" Wang Yanji was slightly startled. "You are doing it for the family, how can I blame you?" "Then how can I blame you? You have already held up your big shield and blocked most of the power. You have done enough." Wang Hao sighed sadly. Cultivating immortals is to go against the will of heaven. Life and death depend on it. There is a destiny. These clan members died for the family. What we have to do is not to mourn here, but to better develop the family for them, protect the family, let the family pass on for thousands of years, and future generations will always remember their merits. Wang Yanji closed his eyes in pain and said nothing. He was not a stupid person, how could he not understand this? But the dead and injured were all his relatives. Unlike Wang Hao, who had not lived in the family since he was a child, the relationship between them was deeper. Wang Hao saw that although he was sad, his mood was relatively stable, and he was temporarily relieved. He walked to Wang Longling and others and began to discuss the matter of Qinglu Peak. Seeing that Wang Hao was in a bad mood, Li Durong advised, "You don't have to be sad. The resources in this world are limited. This is what cultivators fight for. If you want benefits, you have to take risks." 2 members of the Li family also died, and one had his hands broken. If no elixir could be found to regenerate the severed limbs, the person would be dead. Wang Longyu also used a tone that had seen all the vicissitudes of life, and slowly advised, "You have never experienced that the battle between forces is so vicious. After all, the failure will lead to the annihilation of the race." Li Yaozu echoed, "What Wang Daoyu said is that our Lijiu Peninsula has been at peace for 200 years. According to the records of our ancestors, it is said that the battles here were extremely fierce before, and families were wiped out overnight. That is the Jindan sect. There are also several people who have been destroyed, so if you want to survive, the only way is to become stronger, and don't become a soft persimmon to be needed by others." He laughed twice and then said, "Thanks to little friend Wang, my Li family has also received several foundation building pills. If your family and I join forces and develop steadily for a few years, maybe we can really become a golden pill force." Having said this, he glanced at Li Durong pointedly and asked tentatively, Wang Xiaoyu doesn't seem to have a Taoist partner yet. I think Durong is about the same age as you, so why not? Senior Li, please stop talking about this at this time. Wang Hao interrupted him directly. It's not that he looked down on Li Durong. He has dual spiritual roots, is beautiful, and is much stronger than him. He was also an old man in his previous life. Sipi is also eager to take in a few, but that is something he will only consider after he has a baby. He really can't be too promiscuous now, and he already has Ji Xiaotang, a Taoist monk. Fourth uncle, Durong is devoted to cultivating Taoism and has never considered personal matters. Please fourth uncle not to make decisions for Durong without authorization. Li Durong was also a little embarrassed and couldn't help but choke. Ahem, okay, let's talk about it later, let's talk about Qinglu Peak first. Li Yaozu said awkwardly, and then concentrated on talking about the attack on Qinglu Peak. Although this place is far away, there is some distance, but the sound of the fight just now was loud, and maybe the Gu family of Qinglu Peak has discovered it, so we can only attack by force, but they don't have the foundation building monks, and there won't be too many Qi practitioners left. It's enough for me and Durong, fellow Taoist Wang, to go and take care of the injured tribesmen here, Xiaoyu Wang and fellow Taoist Yanji. Even if Wang Hao wanted to go, his current situation would not allow him to take action. He nodded silently and did not express an opinion. Wang Longyu said, I have no objection. Qinglu Peak and Haifeng Mountain are 3 hours away, so we can win them together. But how should the harvest be divided? Should each family share the peak, or should all the gains be shared equally? That his meaning is also very clear. The Li family should not think that they want to occupy more because they have 2 foundation building monks attacking the mountain. How could Li Yaozu have such thoughts? If he had stood in front of his clansmen at that time, the result might not be as good as Wang Hao. To put it bluntly, it was Wang Hao who saved the lives of his Li family's Qi training clansmen. He said cheerfully, of course, everything will be divided equally. Fellow Taoist Wang, don't worry. If a monk from my Li family dares to hide his secrets, I will kill him personally. Wang Longyu nodded with satisfaction and began to discuss the specific details of the attack. In a moment, they headed towards Qinglu Peak with 10 slightly injured tribesmen. Wang Hao was not too worried. The formation also needed suitable monks to control it in order to exert its power. Without foundation-building monks, even the second-level high-grade formation arranged by the Gu family could not withstand the attack of 3 foundation-building monks. Wang Longyu and others came to Qinglu Peak with confidence. When they saw that the formation was opened as they expected, they snorted coldly, took out the magic weapon, waved it, and said, attack with all your strength. Auras of spiritual light began to hit the formation screen. Compared with the previous battle formation that was like a turtle shell, Qinglu Peak's formation had formation feet, formation weapons, and spiritual veins for energy, but it lost the control of the monks and seemed a little more powerful. Insufficient, the Gu family has made a big investment in attacking Qingyafang this time. All the clan members above the middle stage of Qi training have been transferred away, leaving only a group of old, weak, sick and disabled people. It's amazing that they can hold on. However, within half an hour, under the fierce attack of the 3 foundation builders, the formation finally could no longer hold up and shattered, causing the Gu family members to wail. Li Yaozu and the others were not merciful people, so they started killing with a wave of their hands. However, they are not deliberately killing people. After all, the number is too small. They are just looking for some high-value targets. Looking at a forest of second-grade high-grade ironwood trees, Li Yaozu's eyes were fiery. He picked up a magic weapon and smashed it against one. However, the ironwood trees were extremely hard and were the main material for making magic weapons. The blow only caused a small scar. It would take a lot of time to cut it down, and they didn't have much time to spend here. Who knows if other families will come to support. Fellow Taoist Li, forget it, let's cut down the low-aged ironwood trees and look for other valuable treasures. Do you want to set a fire? Li Yaozu looked stern. Wang Longyu shook his head. It's better not to do this kind of thing that harms others and does not benefit oneself. If the Gu family is not destroyed, we will hate you and my family to death. Even if the Gu family is dead, the forces that will take over this Ling Shan in the future will also they will hate us. Li Yaozu nodded. It was indeed true. It was okay to take away resources. After all, the fittest would survive and the fittest would survive. But if you destroy the resources, you will obviously make people angry. Immediately, he began to cut down the second-level and lower-grade ironwood trees, and transplanted several first-level ironwood trees as a whole. The Gu family's warehouse, spiritual field, spiritual medicine garden, etc. were plundered by monks from the Wang and Li families in turn, and everything that could be taken away was packed away. After searching everything, everyone fled towards Black Wind Mountain. After following the same method, the Wang and Li families made a lot of money, with 50,000 spiritual stones alone, and the value of various resources exceeded 100,000 spiritual stones. The huge harvest made them feel better after losing their clan members. Wen Hao, has there been news from Lei Liheng and the others? Wang Longyu asked after landing. Wang Hao nodded. They captured Hongfeng Lake yesterday. There were no setbacks. It was much easier than us. The main reason is that the head of the Gu family, Gu Lizhan, is at the Yi family in Xuanhuan Mountain. There is only one Gu family leader in Hongfeng Lake. Base. Chapter 162 See Family Feng Du Valley. They must have guessed this, so they let us attack Haifeng Mountain and Qinglu Peak. They have bad intentions. Wang Yanji said angrily. He is still brooding about the death of his clan members. Wang Longyu shook his head. Who could have expected this situation? Even if they get the news, there is no need to share it with us. After all, we are in Qingniafang and have a competitive relationship. Li Yaozu heard this and said, yes, the three of them are closer to us than us. Fortunately, we now have more foundation-building monks, so we are no worse than them. Little friend Wang, what else did Lei Liheng say? It's not just showing off, right? Fellow Taoist Lei asked us to rush directly to the C family and destroy the C family as soon as possible before the others in Maple Leaf Square react. Wang Hao handed over a transmission note and showed it to Li Yaozu. After Li Yaozu read it over, his face darkened. This Lei Liheng is so bullying. He even asked us to attack a small mountain of the C family, and they attacked the C family's nest. It's clear that the inheritance of the whole family will not be given to us. Although Qinglu Peak and Black Wind Mountain have a lot of resources, they do not have a sutra pavilion. The Wang and Li families who inherited the C family only got part of it from the Gu family monks, and there was nothing gained at all. Does Lei Liheng think of himself as the leader of the alliance? Are you ordering us like this? Wang Yanji was even more angry. Wang Longyu looked worried. We have suffered a lot this time. If we encounter tough trouble again, it will be difficult to deal with it. That it seems that Lei Liheng not only has the intention to monopolize the inheritance of the Gusi family, but may also want to take the opportunity to weaken the Wang and Li families. After all, there are 6 foundation builders on their side, and Lei Liheng is in the late stage of foundation establishment, and his strength is relatively high. The Wang and Li families are stronger. Wang Hao smiled indifferently and said, Uncle, have you never heard of the saying that a general will not accept the order of the king? Lei Liheng wants to be the leader of the alliance, but he is not the real leader of the alliance. What to do is not up to us. Have the final say. Wang Longyu nodded happily. No matter what Lei Liheng ordered, the Wang family could agree to it and just act accordingly. Wang Yanji also understood. Let's just do it for a show and have a fight. Not really, after all, the resources are real, but we must not fight hard like this time. Li Yaozu said in a low voice. With their attention made up, everyone began to move towards the C family's territory. Compared with the stronger Gu family, the C family has 2 spiritual mountains, and there is no second-level upper-grade spiritual mountain, only 1 second-level middle-grade and 1 second-level lower-grade. Wang Hao and his friends are going to attack the second-level lower-grade Fenglu Valley. After arriving at Fenglu Valley, Wang Hao said, we don't want to fight this time. If we can easily break the formation, we can plunder some resources and leave. If we encounter stubborn resistance, we will retreat immediately. Li Durong and Li Yaozu agreed, and they went to attack from the other side. Looking at the Fenglu Valley shrouded in white fog in front, Wang Hao shouted, "Do it." Although he has not fully recovered now, it does not affect the operation of spiritual power. Then he condensed fire lotus with his hands and smashed it towards Fenglu Valley. And other Wang family members also launched various spells to attack. Rumble. A huge roar sounded, and the white mist dissipated a lot. The flames scattered and illuminated the orange formation curtain. The power of the formation is not right. Wang Longyu wondered, could it be that the people of the Xi family also rushed to the front line? Wang Hao was slightly stunned and said, "That's good, it saves us the effort." Wang Longyu nodded and continued to attack the formation. After half a quarter of an hour, the white mist dissipated, revealing a lush canyon. Wang Hao released his spiritual sense and carefully scanned the canyon. He did not find anything unusual, nor did he find any trace of immortal cultivators. It seems that the Xi family got the news and evacuated in advance, otherwise even if they went to the front line, they would not leave no one behind. Section 84. You are listening at novelfull.audio. People from the Li family also flew over at this time and asked, "What should we do now?" Wang Longyu said, "We arrived very quickly. Even if the Xi family evacuate some resources, they can't take them with them. Let's go search for them and then evacuate. People who want to come to Maple Leaf Square have also received the news. Let's go and talk to Lei Li as soon as possible. Let them join together." Wang Hao said, "Let's search separately, but we still have to be careful to avoid being ambushed." Everyone nodded and took 2 or 3 Qi refining clan members to fly to different targets. The spiritual stones and the resources in the warehouse can be taken away, but the spiritual plants and ores cannot be taken away. Wang Hao flew above a dark purple pine forest. This is a second-level spiritual wood that can refine magic weapons and make puppets. However, judging from the dates, they are only within 100 years, and cannot reach the second level. Wang Hao picked up the mother-in-law blue light sword and slashed towards the root of a purple pine tree. There was a click, and Yin Zisong fell down. "You guys clean it up as soon as possible." Wang Hao then slashed at the second Yinzi pine. The 2 Qi practitioners also took out their magical weapons, cut the Yinzi pine that Wang Hao had chopped off into small pieces, and then put them into storage bags. Half an hour later, Wang Hao cut down more than 30 Yinzi pine trees, which were only worth 3,000 or 4,000 spiritual stones. But this trip was not in vain. "Elder, we found a medicine garden," a tribesman reported. "Have you ever gone in?" Wang Hao asked. "According to the elder's instructions, we did not go in. We came to report to the elder immediately after discovering it." Wang Hao nodded. The Wang family suffered losses in the last battle and were all very excited. Wang Hao took them to fly over the medicine garden. There were no traps visible from above, but in such a critical place, the Xi family could not. "I will give it to them for free, maybe there will be some surprise left behind." Wang Hao released several ape puppets and asked them to walk in from different directions. The 4 ape puppets, controlled by Wang Hao, walked along the path of the medicine garden and found nothing unusual, but Wang Hao was still careful and controlled the ape to try to pick a magical medicine. As soon as an ape's hand touched a 50-year-old spirit containing grass, a huge roar sounded, and a large red flame suddenly appeared on the ground, covering the ape puppet. In a moment, the flames burned the ape puppet to ashes. This first-order puppet beast was made of wood and could not withstand the burning of the fire. Seeing this scene, several tribesmen were frightened into cold sweats. Fortunately, they listened to Wang Hao's words and did not act rashly, otherwise they would be the ones who died. Wang Hao sneered and continued to order other puppets to touch the elixir, triggering 4 more traps one after another. There was no movement after that. Wang Hao took out 6 more puppet beasts, handed them to several tribesmen, and said, "First you control the puppets to patiently explore the path, and then you start picking the elixir. Do you understand?" "Understood, elder." The 3 of them took over the puppet beasts, and after briefly familiarizing themselves with the control methods, they took them into the medicine garden and carefully picked the elixirs. The puppet beasts could not pick the more delicate elixirs. "Come on, if the intensity is not controlled well, it is very likely to damage the elixir. After raiding the elixir garden, other places were also searched by the Li family. Wang Longyu and others, Li Durong and others also gained something. After everyone gathered together, they simply nodded and fled away. Chapter 163 Giantwood Peak. Giantwood Peak is the residence of the Xi family. This peak is more than 300 feet high and more than 30 miles long and wide. There is a second-level middle-grade spiritual vein in it. It is not big, but the resources are quite rich under the nourishment of the spiritual vein. Lei Liheng had benefited from the Gu family and was in high spirits. At this time, he was leading more than 30 monks to attack Jimo Peak. The flywheel magic weapon in Lei Liheng's hand rotated, 1 turned into 2, and 2 turned into 4. Soon, hundreds of flywheels shot out with an astonishing momentum. Break it for me, as Lei Li fell down with a loud sound, hundreds of flywheels rushed to hit the formation screen. Others also used their own methods to attack the giant formation at Jimo Peak. Various spells lit up and roars could be heard. Soon, the formation couldn't hold on anymore and collapsed. Lei Liheng saw only a few panicked Xi family Qi practitioners running around, and he laughed contemptuously. The old ghost of the Xi family did go to Xuanhuan mountain. A few words the spell was released and those people were cut down. Turning around and looking at the people behind him, he said, "Fellow Taoist Zhao will take people to the Ling Tian and move away all the elixirs grown by the Xi family. Fellow Taoist Cheng will go to find their large warehouse and empty out the resources. I will take people to the Sutra Collection Pavilion of the Xi family." Look, Lei Liheng lived for more than 180 years. He was thoughtful and cautious. Although he concluded that the main force of the Xi family was not there, he still carefully let go of his consciousness to search for possible Xi family members. After seeing the Zhao and Qing families falling to the ground, he ordered his people to descend to the peak of Jimo Peak. Looking at the 3-story scripture collection pavilion, Lei Liheng smiled with satisfaction and waved his hand. "Go and move the collection away." "Yes, Patriarch." Another foundation builder of the Lei family led the clan members into the Sutra Collection Pavilion, but as soon as they entered it, a strange phenomenon suddenly appeared. There was a fluctuation in the sky, and a blue light curtain reappeared. Outside the light curtain, a flying boat slowly emerged from the clouds. In front of the flying boat stood 2 foundation-building monks. One of them was an old man in purple robes. His eyes were gloomy and he was holding a black array disc. Behind him were 30 members of the Xi family. Everyone has a murderous look on their faces. "If you dare to attack our family, kill them all." "Yes, Master," but the 30 members of the Xi family were all elites, almost all of whom were in the late stage of Qi training. They killed some of the 3 families who had no much defense in one move. The purple-robed old man controlled the array. As a spell entered, the situation above the Giantwood Peak changed. Fireballs fell from high altitudes, attacking the 3 monks who invaded the peak. Lei Liheng's face turned ugly. The Xi family actually set up an ambush in his home base. You must know that even if the Xi family wins this battle, the damage to Jimo Peak will not be low. Is it worth it? But what Lei Liheng didn't know was that the head of the Xi family, Xianxia, had already made a plan. They wanted to seize a piece of King Niafang's Lingshan mountain and move the family directly. After all, there was no second-level high-grade Lingshan mountain, and the family was too restricted. If 1 or 2 of the King Niafang's foundation builders can be killed at this time, then the Xi family will have more confidence to get Lingshan when they divide the interests. Xianxia did not want to keep everyone. His opponent had 6 foundation builders, and there were only 2 of them. Even with the help of a large formation, it was impossible to keep them all, so he initially attacked an early-stage foundation builder monk from the Lei family, and the others the person just planned to use the big formation to trap him for a while. Attack the formation with all your strength. Lei Li opened a large formation to attack Lei's family. He knew very well that the longer the delay, the more people would be killed and injured. Lei Liheng stared coldly at the formation, and the prototype of the magic weapon in his hand rotated crazily, making an eardrum-piercing metallic roar like a turbine engine, emitting astonishing spiritual pressure. "Break it for me," that the flywheel poured out from Lei Liheng's hand, growing in size in the air, and crashed into the formation with astonishing momentum. The prototype of the magic weapon. Xianxia's face turned dark. The formation he set up was only a second-level mid-level formation. Even with his control, it could not withstand the attack of the prototype of the magic weapon. After thinking for a while, he gritted his teeth and said to the monk behind him, "Kill the foundation-building monk with all your strength, and ignore the rest. Once killed, we will retreat immediately." Then dozens of attacks hit another foundation-building monk of the Lei family. Xuanhuan Mountain is now crowded with many clan members from various families, and it is very lively. In the martial arts field on the mountainside, a group competition is going on. Several families feel bored, so they might as well take the opportunity to practice military training and let the young disciples compete with each other. It is not convenient for them, the family heads, to take action, but there is always a leader. Although no one said it clearly today, the family with the first place will definitely have more say. Ji Shuguang sat on the high platform on one side and talked and laughed. He took a sip of spiritual wine and squinted his eyes for a while. He felt a little bored. The competition between the children of the family was far less fierce than that of the sect, and the methods were naturally very ordinary, so he didn't. "Why are you paying attention?" He looked at an empty seat and asked, "Why hasn't Xianxia arrived yet? Doesn't his C family want to participate?" Gu Lizhan replied, "The head of the C family asked someone to tell me a few days ago that he sensed an opportunity and was preparing to break through, so he can't come, but he will definitely arrive before the time to attack." "Oh, that's it. Cultivation is indeed important, and I am not an unkind person. As long as the C family can come this month, it will be fine. If not, Ji Shuguang's eyes turned cold. "I will let him know the consequences. The head of the C family is sensible. Moreover, Xianxia's cultivation has reached the late stage of foundation building, and his family's spiritual mountain is no longer enough. But where can we find any spare spiritual mountain in Maple Leaf Square City? In order to find a good spiritual mountain, as long as Xianxia is not too old and stupid, he will definitely attack King Niafang with all his strength." Yi Jingshan also said a good word for the C family. After all, they must unite sincerely. Just as the two young monks at the 9th level of Qi training were fighting fiercely on the ring, a black dot suddenly appeared in the distance and flew over with a sharp roar. "Who dared to trespass on our Xuanhuan mountain?" Yi Jingshan, who was sitting at the top and watching with relish, stood up angrily and shouted, "With so many people watching, this person just barged in. Wasn't this a slap in the Yi family's face? Brother Yi, please don't disturb me, this is my Gu family." Gu Lizhan said quickly, and cupped his hands apologetically, "Maybe there is something urgent in the family. Brother Yi, forgive me, I will reprimand him later." "Humph," Yi Jingshan snorted with an unkind expression, "My Yi family is willing to open Xuanhuan Mountain for everyone's benefit and let everyone rest here temporarily, but I hope you can also abide by the rules of my Yi family and don't run around changing." Yes, Brother Yi is teaching you a lesson. Let's see how I scold him later." Gu Lizhan laughed. Although his Gu family is slightly stronger than the Yi family, it is still very limited. Besides, as the Yi family is at the forefront, the support supplies must be transported from the Yi family, but Yi Jingshan cannot be angered at this time. The man's robe was stained with blood and his face was hurt. When Yi Jingshan saw it, he felt something was wrong and stopped saying anything, and Gu Lizhan's heart suddenly thumped. The person who came was Gu Liyong, Gu Lizhan's clan brother. As soon as he stumbled to the ground, he shouted at Gu Lizhan, "Brother, it's not good." Gu Lizhan was about to stop him. Although he was worried, there were some things that he couldn't tell the public, but Gu Li looked at him without seeing him, and said after a breath, "The Lei family, Zhao family, and Qing family of King Niafang teamed up to attack Hongfeng Lake. There are countless casualties among the clan members." "What?" Gu Lizhan was so shocked that he didn't care about anything else. He flew down from the high platform and grabbed Gu Li's hand. "Tell me clearly, what happened to Hong Maple Lake?" Chapter 164 Ji Shuguang's reaction. Ji Yuli wailed and sobbed and said, 2 days ago, Lei Lihan led 5 foundation builders and more than 30 late-stage Qi training monks to attack the Red Maple Lake formation. I don't know what powerful force they used. With this method, a gap in the battle was opened in less than a quarter of an hour. Kill everyone as soon as they come in. Brother, the Red Maple Lake is gone. What? How could it be, the inheritance of the family's ancestors for 800 years, Gu Li attacked his heart with fierce fire and spit out a mouthful of blood. His vision went dark, and he felt the world spin for a while, and he fell heavily to the ground. Brother Gu, upon seeing this, Gu Liyong and others quickly helped Gu Lizhan up. At this time, there was still a group competition. Yi Jingshan waved his hand and asked the family stewards to evacuate the disciples, while they carried Gu Lizhan into the meeting hall. On the hospital bed, Gu Lizhan was lying with his face so pale. Ji Shuguang had wood spirit roots and was best at healing people's injuries, so he personally helped Gu Lizhan sort out the disordered true energy. After a while, Gu Lizhan slowly opened his eyes. As soon as he opened his eyes, he grabbed Gu Liyong's hand and shouted angrily, "As a foundation-building monk, why did you escape if you didn't protect your family?" "Big brother." Gu Liyong was very frightened and quickly explained, "I thought I took a few moves from Lei Lihan, but he is a peak foundation-building monk, and I am really no match for him, so I can only bring some escape the classics so that you can leave some legacy to your family and also report the news to your elder brother." "You loser," Gu Lizhan immediately slapped him in the face. After being injured, could he still have time to collect the books? I'm afraid he had the idea of escape from the beginning, and he was afraid of being scolded, so he hastily followed Lei Lihan's 2 moves. Gu Li whined and was slapped to the ground. He didn't get up and lay on the ground whimpering. It is extremely rare for a foundation-building monk to be greedy for life and afraid of death, and to be so shameless. "Brother Gu, please pay attention to your health. We have taken note of King Niafang's debt, and we will definitely avenge you in the future." Yi Jingshan comforted. Ji Shuguang pointed to Gu Liyong on the ground, "Your brother didn't lie. His injuries were not light, and he did the right thing. If he didn't run away, I'm afraid you and I wouldn't get the news. The people of King Niafang, how dare you cross the border to attack us, you don't even care about me," he said and slammed the table. Gu Lizhan quickly calmed down. It was a fact that Hong Maple Lake was gone. Even if he killed Gu Li, it would be useless. In addition, Ji Shuguang had already spoken. He had to give face. If he wanted to rebuild the Gu family, he could not offend the Burning Heaven sect. Especially Ji Shuguang, who is in charge of Maple Leaf Square. Section 85. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Gu Lizhan struggled to get up and gave a solemn salute. "Brother Gu, what are you doing? Get up. Everyone, the thieves from King Niafang only arrived at Hongfeng Lake 2 days ago. They must be searching for resources in our Gu family's land, which will delay a lot of time. Our Gu family also has 2 other spiritual mountains, and they won't let them go." "Yes," Gu Lizhan said here. He was stunned, closed his eyes in pain, and shed 2 lines of thick tears. After a moment of slowing down, he continued, "I would like to ask you all to start immediately and stop Lei Lihan. I, Gu Lizhan, can't thank you enough." Gu Lizhan bent his knees and knelt down heavily. "Brother Gu, get up first." Yi Jingshan and others quickly helped Gu Lizhan. Gu Lizhan kowtowed again. "Please agree." Everyone looked at Ji Shuguang. He was the only one who could make the decision at this time. After all, the war was coming, and there might be some twists and turns in supporting the Gu family. Ji Shuguang groaned, "Master Gu family, please get up. I agree to lead all the foundation-building monks to support your Gu family." "Thank you, Elder Ji." Gu Lizhan bowed his head again, stood up quickly, and said impatiently, "Everyone, your troops are very fast, please move quickly." Ji Shuguang frowned. Although Gu Lizhan's mood was understandable, he seemed a little ignorant when he directed everyone beyond him. He stretched out his hand to stop him. "Master Gu, we'd better discuss it before setting off, otherwise we'll fall into the enemy's trap. Can you take the responsibility?" Gu Lizhan looked struggling, looking into Ji Shuguang's emotionless eyes, and finally gave in. It all depends on Elder Ji. Well, let's keep it simple. Let's just talk about our opinions and we will act as soon as possible. Once Gu Lizhan surrendered, Ji Shuguang would not make it difficult for him too much. The Gu family is still useful. In this situation, both sides of the Gu family, if you build the foundation, you will attack King Niafang harder, and the Burning Sky Sect's goal can be better achieved. Elder Ji, I think the people in King Niafang must have gotten the news, so they took a preemptive strike to weaken our power, so that they will face much less pressure in the future. Yi Jing said first. Su Minglang said, since the Zhao family, Lei family, and Qing family are here, there is no reason why the Wang family and the Li family should not come. The other two Lingshans in Brother Gu's family are probably. Gu Lizhan's face turned bitter and he remained silent. His fists were clenched tightly, his nails piercing his skin, and blood dripping onto the floor. He Junyi touched his beard and suddenly looked horrified. They captured the Gu family so smoothly, I'm afraid they won't withdraw directly. Our families are also in danger. As soon as these words came out, everyone looked horrified. The heads of the family and some elite disciples all came to the Yi family. The family defense was empty. If King Niafang gathered 10 foundation builders, no one would be able to defend it. Ji Shuguang also looked a little panicked at this time. If only the Gu family was lost, it would not have a big impact on the plan, but if other families were attacked, I am afraid that the plan to attack King Niafang would go bankrupt. And he, Ji Shuguang, as the designated person of the sect must bear responsibility. He quickly glanced at the family heads in the field and asked, whose family is closest to the Gu family? It's the Si family. There are only 2 foundation builders in the Si family. Even if Si Jijie is here, I'm afraid it will be difficult to defend against it. Yi Jingshan remained calm and said slowly. His Yi family has now gathered 10 foundation builders and is not afraid at all. From King Niafang, Lei Liheng would definitely not come to trouble the Yi family as long as his head was not caught in the door. Okay, let's go to Si's house right now. Ji Shuguang made a decision immediately. Elder Ji. Gu Lizhan couldn't help but ask, what about my Gu family? Ji Shuguang regained his indifference and asked, Master Gu, it's been 2 days, and it will take 2 days for us to support you. If it were you leading 10 foundation builders, wouldn't you be able to capture 2 second-level spiritual mountains? Your Gu family, isn't it possible that there are still several foundation builders in Lingshan? There was no way Gu Lizhan was willing to give up, but Ji Shuguang didn't give him a chance to speak, and continued, if you want to go back, just take your family members back with you. I won't stop you, but I have to consider the overall situation. Head of the Gu family, I would like to advise you, your Gu family still has 2 foundation builders and dozens of core disciples. After defeating King Niafang, you can still rebuild the family, but if you act emotionally, the Gu family will have no hope at all. So, I hope you'll have a good time thinking about it. Ji Shuguang turned to face the other family heads and said, I know that you are all worried about your family, but looking at the distance, I also know that they will never leap to your territory in such a short period of time. Therefore, we are going to the Si family now. Blocking them is the best option. Do you have any objections? Everyone looked at each other and nodded slowly. Ji Shuguang nodded with satisfaction. Okay, since there are no objections, let's set off immediately. In addition, you will send someone to inform your respective families and let them strengthen their defenses. Chapter 165 Si Family History. Even if Ji Shuguang didn't say it, they would do it. It's always good to be careful, among the foundation building monks present. In the end, except for the 2 foundation building monks left by the Yi family to look after the house, and Gu Liong who was injured and needed to recover, the other 7 foundation building monks followed Ji Shuguang to the Si family to support them. On the giant wooden peak, flames shot into the sky, and a yellow flying boat flew out from the top of the peak and flew high into the sky. A cyan rainbow followed. Closely behind, faster, Si Jijia on the yellow flying boat threw a green ball towards Lei Liheng. Lei Liheng rolled his eyes and threw the flywheel to resist. There was a crisp sound, and countless flywheels chopped the green balls into pieces. But in an instant, the green balls released a large amount of green mist, covering an area of 100 feet. Covered inside. No, it's poisonous. Lei Liheng quickly retreated. When the green mist dissipated, the yellow flying boat was no longer visible. Lei Li stood in the air with an indifferent expression. They won the battle in the end, but 8 of his tribesmen were killed and injured. Foundation building monk Lei Xingbing was even more seriously injured. Although he was lucky enough to survive, the foundation was damaged and the path was ruined. Hopeless, back on the ground, people from the Zhao family and the Qing family immediately surrounded them. They also lost several members of their clan, but the Si family focused on taking care of the Lei family, so they only lost a few Qi practitioners and the foundation building monks were trapped. Stay, no injuries. Looking at Lei Liheng with gloomy eyes, no one dared to speak for a while. The Lei family was originally the strongest among the 3 families, but now one of the foundation builders is seriously injured, and it is difficult to say what the future will be like. Lei Li hated Xianxia so much, why did he have to target his Lei family? He originally thought that the Si family's 2 spiritual mountains must be built one on each side. The family leader may also go to Xuanhuan mountain, so it will be very easy for them to attack the giant tree summit. On the contrary, the Wang and Li families may suffer some hardships. By weakening some of his strength, who would have thought that he would be shooting himself in the foot? Lei Liheng sighed helplessly. Everyone, if Xianxia runs away, other families in Maple Leaf Fong will definitely get the news. Let's inform fellow Daoist Wang and the others to withdraw to Qingyou Fong as soon as possible. That there were a total of 12 monks from the Lei family, including Lei Liheng. 6 of them died in this battle and 2 were seriously injured. It would be too dangerous to stay here. Zhao Gaofeng frowned, glanced around the mountain, and asked, what should we do with the resources here? We have lost so much, we can't get nothing. Xianxia had already planned it. All the important resources must have been taken away. The remaining elixirs or spiritual trees cannot be easily transplanted. It takes too much time to pick. If you want it, just send someone to pick it. But I can only give you a quarter of an hour. After all, if you stay here for a moment longer, you will be in greater danger. Lei Liheng had to praise Xianxia in his heart. The 2 foundation builders dared to ambush 6 foundation builders. Their courage was extraordinary. The Lei family suffered a big loss, and the Si family did not gain much advantage in this battle. More than 10 members of the Qi Lian clan died, and the 2 foundation builders were also injured to varying degrees. But Xianxia achieved his goal, killing so many people in Qingyafang and severely injuring a foundation builder. He would definitely be able to claim credit in front of the Burning Sky sect and share more of the profits in the future. Zhao Gaofeng had no choice but to nod helplessly, took out his flying sword and slashed at the spiritual tree next to him. For a quarter of an hour, a cultivator could still do a lot of things. Others were not idle when they saw this, and started to take action one after another. This time they were not polite, and their actions were very rude, as if they wanted to vent their anger on these buildings and plants. On a hill somewhere, Wang Hao and others were gathering together as monks. Judging from their expressions, they were not relaxed. From time to time they would look into the distance to avoid being followed. The route they chose to retreat was to go back the same way they came. They couldn't go through the Gu family. Otherwise, they could only go to the Yi family. Most of Maple Leaf Square's power was concentrated there. Wouldn't they be courting death by going that way? But he was afraid of something. Wang Hao suddenly turned his face and said quickly, "Be careful, someone is coming." His spiritual consciousness was stronger and he discovered it earlier than Li Yaozu and Wang Longyu, who were on the 6th floor of the foundation building. Several people had heavy eyes and took out their magic weapons to defend themselves. Li Durong took out a mesh magic weapon, injected spiritual power and threw it over the people, turning it into a large net more than 3 feet long, covering everyone. The spiritual shielding net can hide the spiritual energy fluctuations in an area. After a moment, a yellow escaping light appeared in the distance and flew towards them quickly from the sky. This is the flying boat of the Si family. At this time, there are still 16 Qi training monks and 2 foundation building monks left on the flying boat. It is Xianxia and the others. The Xi family became rich relatively late, in the past 200 years. Xianxia's father, Xi Ji, was a casual cultivator. Later, by chance, he broke through to the foundation building stage, and then helped the Burning Heaven sect find a key treasure and obtain that he was in Lingshan, so he established the Xi family. In order to increase the number of members of the Xi family, his father Xi Ji often made strange moves and took more than 300 concubines in a row. Even a cultivator of immortals would be physically overwhelmed by so many women, which would cause a lot of losses and damage the original and harmonious life. But the advantage of this is that Xi Ji gave birth to more than 40 immortal cultivators with spiritual roots in his life. This wasn't the end, he simply let his mortal sons continue to marry a large number of wives, take concubines, and continue to have children. What's even more amazing is that he let his mortal daughter and granddaughter open a brothel, and then attracted casual cultivators to stay overnight, and started the business of borrowing seeds to have children. Xi Ji believes that as long as these people have a trace of his blood in them, they are members of the Xi family. No matter who the father of the child is, they all have the surname Xi anyway. The monks born in the brothel account for nearly half of the Xi family alone. After all, there is more power in numbers. The monks in the Xi family were strictly ordered by Xi Ji to practice seriously. They don't have many wives and concubines. How can they compare with the casual cultivators in the brothel? Xianxia is one of them. His ability to become the head of the family was not only due to his good talent in Erlangen, but also the support of many members of the Xi family who were born in brothels. Xianxia was shrewd and good at scheming. Not only did he win the favor of Xi Ji, he also won over a large number of clan members in the late stage of Qi training, so he could firmly control the Xi family after Xi Ji's death. It was because he paid too much attention to scheming that he suffered at the hands of Lei Liheng. Lei Liheng was a peak foundation-building cultivator. After fighting with Lei Liheng, Xianxia was shocked and knew that he was no match for him. So when the formation was broken, he decisively abandoned some of his clansmen and escaped in time, and he used his brain again. Instead of moving closer to the Yi family, he chose to come to the Gu family. He felt that the news of the battle here must have been known by Ji Shuguang. Maple Leaf Square would immediately organize people to surround the people of Qingniu Square. Their Xi family suffered a lot of losses this time, but the results were still good, so he planned not to participate for the time being and save his strength. In the future, Qingniu Square would make a lot of money, and he wondered if the Gu family would have any legacy, so he decided to search again. The Xi family was established too late and lacked everything. Even things that other families looked down on, their Xi family would also think were treasures. If they were discovered by the remaining Gu family members, just kill them directly. Anyway, the people of the Gu family would think that it was done by the people of Qingniu Square and had nothing to do with him, Xianxia. It seems to be the people of the Xi family, 2 foundation-building cultivators, and more than a dozen Qi-training cultivators. Wang Hao said in a deep voice as he looked at the approaching flying boat. Chapter 166, Fighting the Xi Family. Li Yaozu's eyes lit up, and he immediately said, "There is nothing good on the sacred mountain of the Xi family. They should have taken everything with them. Should we take them down?" Wang Longyu pondered. This time we only defeated the Gu family, and a foundation-building cultivator escaped. The pressure we will face in the future is still not small. For the sake of the family, I agree with fellow Daoist Li's opinion. Then fight, and we will withdraw immediately after the fight. Wang Hao didn't say anything more and directly sacrificed his flying sword. When the yellow flying boat flew over the top of the mountain, colorful magic lights flew out and hit the Xi family fiercely. Xianxia was shocked, and with a pinch of magic formula, the flying boat immediately accelerated, but the tail was still hit by several magic spells, and several Qi training clan members died instantly. The flying boat was also damaged and fell from a high altitude. Xianxia pinched his fingers, and a flying sword appeared under his feet. He stabilized his body and pulled several tribesmen around him. Another foundation-building Xi Zhihan also saved 2 tribesmen, but the sudden attack still caused most of them to be killed or injured, either by direct explosion or falling to death. Wang Yanji was seriously injured and could not take action now. Wang Hao had not recovered to his peak, so Wang Longyu and Li Yaozu went to deal with Xianxia, who was at the 7th level of foundation building, and Wang Hao and Li Durong dealt with Xizhiheng, who was at the 3rd level of foundation building. The enemy only had 2 foundation building and 7 Qi training tribesmen left, while they had 17 tribesmen, 4 of whom were foundation building and could take action. It was a sneak attack, so the chances of winning were very high. Before Xianxia and his men could stabilize their bodies, Wang Hao and his men attacked again. The 1st level magic weapon was okay, but if they were hit by the 2nd level spiritual weapon, they would be either dead or disabled. At the critical moment, Xianxia offered a white jade rui, stretched out his hand, and the jade rui emitted a light shield to protect them. There was a loud rumble, and the light shield became much thinner, but it still defended against the first round of attacks from everyone. Xianxia hurriedly landed on the ground. The Qigong people could not fly the sword. If they stayed in the air, they would consume too much mana. They would definitely not be able to defend against another round of attacks from the enemy. At this time, Wang Hao and others also showed up. Xianxia looked at them carefully and was immediately panicked. He felt bitter in his mouth. He didn't expect that there were people from King Niafang ambushing them here. Little did they know that they just bumped into Wang Hao and others' arms. Li Yaozu didn't waste any words. He threw a talisman with lightning in his hand into the air. It was a 2nd level upper grade lightning talisman. He didn't dare to hide his weakness against Xianxia, who was in the late stage of foundation building. He used the most violent means from the beginning. Section 86. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The lightning talisman flew into the air, and a deafening roar sounded. A cloud hundreds of feet in size appeared above their heads. The clouds kept colliding, and the power of thunder and lightning was brewing. After a moment, the first lightning suddenly struck Xianxia from the sky. Wang Longyu condensed the fire lotus and attacked Xianxia. Wang Hao and others also took action. Various magic tools and colorful spiritual lights attacked the Xi family with great momentum. After all, Xianxia was a cultivator in the late stage of foundation building. Seeing that the highest cultivation level of the attackers was only the 6th level of foundation building, he regained his composure and continued to activate Yu-Rui to strengthen the protective shield. At the same time, he took out a black bell-shaped magic tool to cover everyone and increase defense. Boom! The roar sounded again, and the colorful spells broke the protective shield transformed by Yu-Rui, but were blocked by the black bell-shaped magic tool. The bell-shaped magic tool made a dull sound of dong-dong and did not move at all, but the attacks of Wang Hao and others would never stop there. Thunder and lightning continued to brew in the sky, and Wang Hao and his men also used their own means to attack. The bell-shaped magic weapon finally couldn't hold on after a strange sound, and a crack was seen on it. Xianxia took back the magic weapon distressedly. Seeing this, several members of the Xi family turned pale and instinctively wanted to escape. If they had been with Xianxia, they might have lived a little longer, but they actually chose to escape in front of the 4 foundation building masters. Wang Hao raised his hand and patted the spirit beast bag, releasing Yaya, who screamed and lightning flashed. Last time, he was too careless and didn't even release the spirit beast, which resulted in him being injured in the explosion. He couldn't use his spiritual power for the time being, and all his treasures and trump cards couldn't be used. This time, he didn't dare to give the enemy a chance like that. Boom! A huge roar sounded, faintly mixed with a few shrill screams, and the few members of the Xi family who escaped became charred corpses, and the remaining few Qi training members of the Xi family no longer had the intention to escape. There is actually a 2nd level middle grade spirit beast, Xianxia said to Xizhiheng beside him with despair in his eyes. You take the people away, I will stop them. I can't let the Xi family be destroyed in my hands. Xianxia understood that if they continue to fight hard, they might die. Of course, there were still a group of Xi family members who were transferred to a safe place by him early, but the elite children were all around him. If they died, the remaining Xi family members would either become casual cultivators or be annexed by other families, and the Xi family would no longer exist. Although Xianxia used some means to get to the top, and he was more harsh in managing his family business in recent years, he really wanted the Xi family to be good and didn't want the Xi family to be destroyed in his hands. As he said, he took out a green ball and threw it at his feet. A large area of green poison gas hid their figures. It's poisonous, don't get close, that without the target, everyone's attacks were no longer accurate. They could only guess Xianxia's approximate location and launch some attacks, but the various spiritual lights sank into the green poison gas, like mud into the sea, and had no effect at all. Li Durong frowned and took out a hurricane talisman. You protect yourselves, I will use the talisman to blow away the poisonous gas. Although the hurricane talisman is only a second-level low-grade talisman, it is the most useful for dealing with these poisonous fogs. The talisman in Li Durong's hand flashed with a spiritual light, and a whistling sound was heard. A tornado several dozen feet high appeared and quickly swept towards the poisonous fog. Wherever it passed, a large amount of flying sand and rocks were swept up, and the poisonous fog was sucked away and thrown into the sky. Hurry up, the Xi family will rely on you in the future. Xianxia looked at the poisonous fog being blown away and gritted his teeth and said, it will be too late if it's too late. Although none of the enemies were stronger than him, they could kill him with the advantage of numbers. Master, you can't hold on for long if you stay alone. I'll stay with you. Besides, I'm a foundation-building cultivator, and they can't let me go at all. Xianxia had a resolute look on his face, and he looked like he was ready to sacrifice himself. Xianxia also knew that they had little hope of escaping, so he handed his storage bag to each of the 3 cheer-refining tribesmen. Whoever can escape will be the next head of the family. Let's go. The 3 tribesmen took the storage bags, saluted the 2 men solemnly, and then fled to the side where the poisonous fog had not yet dissipated. They walked to the edge of the poisonous fog. Immediately slapped a flying spirit talisman on their bodies, and rushed out at a very fast speed. Xianxia and Xianxia looked at each other, and immediately took out their magic weapons to attack Wang Hao and others. Wang Hao chuckled, is it too late to leave now? Then he summoned Xiao Bai and ordered, Yaya, take Xiao Bai to deal with the 3 people who escaped. Be careful not to damage their storage bags. Even if it was a second-level flying spirit talisman, it could only escape a few hundred miles away. How could it escape the pursuit of Yaya, a second-level middle-grade spirit beast? Yaya chirped in understanding and chased the 3 people with Xiaobai. Chapter 167 Centipede Xianxia and Xianxia saw this, with grief and anger, staring at Wang Hao with cold eyes. Xianxia changed his hands and made hand gestures. A green light flashed, and a giant dragon formed by a green poisonous mist swept towards Wang Hao. Wang Hao released a fire dragon to respond, and the fire dragon instantly entangled with the poisonous dragon with scorching heat, making a chi-chi burning sound. The other people from the Wang and Li families hurriedly cast a protective shield on themselves and took detoxification pills to avoid being poisoned by inhaling the poisonous mist. Xianxia shot out 2 second-level spiritual talismans, which turned into a rain of fire and hit everyone. Xianxia also sprinkled a lot of spiritual talismans, which turned into various spells and hit Wang Hao and others with great momentum. Spread out and get out of the way, Wang Hao said lightly, and a flash of green light appeared under his feet, leading several tribesmen to flee to one side. They gathered together, and some methods were difficult to use, and they were easily affected by the enemy's attacks. Boom! A huge roar sounded, and the colorful magic aura flooded the hill where Wang Hao and others had just been. There were also some attacks chasing everyone, but these attacks were weak and were easily taken by Wang Hao and others. Xianxia roared and sent out attacks to chase Li Yaozu and others. Li Yaozu and the other 2 could only join forces to take his attack for a while. Xianxia faced Wang Hao. His eyes were cold, although his realm was not as good as Wang Hao, but he felt that he could definitely injure Wang Hao if he tried his best. Xianxia had created a one-on-one opportunity for him, and he must seize it. You'll know in a moment. It's your biggest mistake to release the spirit beast to chase my people. He patted the spirit beast bag, and a brown centipede about 3 feet in size flew out. What's strange is that this centipede has a pair of small wings on each pair of legs, which can fly. The centipede's body is glowing, and it looks like a poisonous creature. Its momentum has reached the second-level middle grade. Really? How do you know I don't have a spirit beast? Wang Hao chuckled, shook the spirit beast bag on his waist, and 2 fantasy moon butterflies flew out with their big wings flashing. Go hold that beast. Wang Hao ordered directly. In fact, the fantasy moon butterfly is an auxiliary spirit insect. It's best to take it out unexpectedly to confuse the enemy, and the effect is best, but Wang Hao's injuries have not recovered yet, and he is afraid of any changes, so he chose this relatively safe way of playing. After all, Wang Longyou's 3-1 should be able to decide the winner soon, and come to support him. What, you still have a spirit beast? Si Zhiheng couldn't believe it. It was rare for ordinary cultivators to raise one spirit beast, and 2 was even rarer. I didn't expect someone to raise 4 at once. Are the resources so abundant? You know, the consumption of a second-level spirit beast is not much less than that of a foundation-building cultivator. Even if there is a spirit beast to help, you will still die. Si Zhiheng said coldly, his eyes were cold, he was determined to die, but he must drag Wang Hao down with him before he died. A red flying sword appeared in his hand, a second-level middle-grade spirit sword, the red light sword. This was the spirit sword he bought with 3,000 spirit stones. It was refined with the essence of a second-level fire fox, which could launch fire spell attacks with great power. Si Zhiheng made a sword flower, and a large red fireball was emitted from the tip of the sword, floating around him. He kept making sword flowers, and the fireballs kept increasing. In a moment, hundreds of water tank-sized fireballs were condensed, emitting blazing high temperatures. Go! Si Zhiheng swung his sword, and hundreds of fireballs flew towards Wang Hao fiercely. Playing with fire in front of me? Wang Hao chuckled. If Si Zhiheng continued to play with poison, he would not be able to deal with it, but playing with fire, for him who has been using fire for many years, it is not too easy to defend. Then he also shot a bunch of continuous fireball talismans, controlling them to hit Si Zhiheng's fireball. Boom. There was a loud bang, and the 2 fireballs collided. Si Zhiheng's was still stronger. The remaining power rushed towards Wang Hao with high temperature. Wang Hao's feet flashed with green light, and he quickly retreated, with a flash of surprise in his eyes. It's just a mid-grade spiritual weapon, why is the fireball attack so strong? Wang Hao muttered, not daring to be arrogant, and took out the Tuhan seal to protect himself. The mother and child green light sword appeared in his hand, and Wang Hao waved it gently, and the sword shadow smashed the remaining fireballs into pieces, and there was no threat at all, but Wang Hao had already lost half a move. Si Zhiheng only made 1 move, but Wang Hao used 2 moves to respond. This was because his injuries had not recovered, and also because he did not accurately predict the enemy's attack. Si Zhiheng snorted coldly, and once again made several sword flowers, and a series of fireballs rushed towards Wang Hao with a whistling sound. With a loud bang, Wang Hao was hit by a fireball, and the sky-high fire covered Wang Hao's entire body. However, if you observe carefully, you will find that Wang Hao did not suffer any damage. There was a thin layer of fire cover on his body surface, isolating the fire outside from his body. Si Zhiheng took out a bead with lightning light, and his face showed reluctance. The Tianlaizi was obtained by him by chance in exchange. The power was equivalent to the full force of a late-stage foundation-building cultivator. Ordinary second-level magic weapons could not defend against it at all, but the price was also expensive, not much cheaper than the top-grade spiritual weapons. However, at this life-and-death moment, these external objects were no longer important. He did not dare to delay for too long. After all, Wang Hao still had accomplices. If he wins now and helps Xianxia, they may both survive, but if he loses, the only outcome for them is death. After all, Xianxia can't be expected to break out. From the siege of 3 foundation-building monks, Si Zhiheng shook his wrist, and the Heavenly Thunder Child flew out of his hand and hit Wang Hao. The Heavenly Thunder Child is not a big target, silent and invisible, and is really a sharp weapon for sneaking people, but Wang Hao has seen Lei Liheng use it once and knows its power. When Si Zhiheng took it out, he knew that he had to deal with it with all his strength. Wang Hao didn't dare to be careless. With his speed of escape, it was difficult to avoid the explosion range of the Heavenly Thunder Child, so he placed the earthly seal on his head and covered himself steadily. The spiritual energy in his body surged wildly, forming a thick protective shield on the surface of his body. He was still not at ease, so he took out the cloud wave shield that had been in the storage bag and swelled in the wind, protecting the outermost layer. The growth limit of the earthly seal was extremely high. Compared with the cloud wave shield, which was only a top-grade spiritual weapon, Wang Hao would rather sacrifice the latter. As soon as the Thunder Child approached Wang Hao, it immediately exploded. A huge mushroom cloud rose around him like a nuclear explosion. The surrounding area was blocked by hundreds of feet. Sand and rocks flew inside. The violent spiritual power ran around, crushing everything that could be crushed. Wang Hao only felt a dazzling golden light in front of his eyes. The huge pressure hit the Yuntao shield in front of him like a hammer. If it was in his prime, Wang Hao could still bear this pressure, but his meridians were damaged by the Gu family's foundation-building self-explosion last time. At this moment, his face was flushed and there were signs of weakness. Xi Jiheng sneered and continued to attack. A large number of fireballs rushed into the mushroom cloud and hit Wang Hao in the center. For a while, several flames bloomed on the Yuntao shield, and the flames shot up into the sky, which was extremely gorgeous. On the other hand, the centipede is a poisonous spirit beast, while the phantom moon butterfly is better at assisting. In the confrontation, the phantom moon butterfly is at a disadvantage. However, the phantom moon butterfly emits a mist to hide itself. For a while, the centipede can't do anything to them, and has to deal with their attacks from time to time, which makes it very annoying. Chapter 168 Heaven and Earth Spirit Fire. Xi Jiheng was just trying to help his spirit beast and kill Wang Hao's spirit beast. In this way, even if Wang Hao could get out, he would not be his opponent in a 2-on-1 situation. But as soon as he shifted his sight, Wang Hao rushed out of the mushroom cloud. No matter how powerful the Tianlaizi is, it is time-limited. Wang Hao has 2 top-grade spirit weapons as defense. As long as his spiritual power is continuous, there is no possibility of breaking the defense. Although those fireballs are difficult to deal with, Wang Hao condenses a protective shield with his own red lotus true fire, and they cannot hurt Wang Hao, so Xi Jiheng's attention has been diverted, and Wang Hao took the opportunity to rush out. Wang Hao took a chi-restoring pill, and his figure flashed. The phantom wood split shadow was activated, and 3 figures attacked Xi Jiheng with thousands of sword lights. Xi Jiheng hurriedly defended, but he didn't expect that Wang Hao's real body was actually going to attack his spirit beast. A series of shrill hisses sounded, and the centipede was cut off by Wang Hao's sword. Seeing this scene, Xi Jiheng was shocked and angry. He had cultivated the centipede with great difficulty. In the past, he relied on this spirit beast to kill many monsters and explore several secret realms. Because of this, he was relatively wealthy, but it was killed by Wang Hao. "Ah, boy, I want you to pay for my spirit beast." That a golden flame suddenly appeared in Xi Jiheng's hand. He pinched the magic formula, and the golden flame changed its shape, forming a golden fire eagle, which cried and flapped its wings to fly towards Wang Hao. Section 87. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Where the fire eagle passed, the temperature suddenly rose, and the surroundings began to twist. Die, die. Xianxia stared at Wang Hao frantically. Wang Hao was as if facing a great enemy, and his heart was faintly throbbing. This feeling was no less than when the Gu family cultivator exploded. What is this? It actually has a terrifying power. Wang Hao was extremely depressed, as if he had encountered something terrible. Wang Hao frantically searched for the information he knew, and finally determined that what Xianxia had in his hand was probably one of the spiritual fires of heaven and earth. Only this kind of spiritual fire naturally nurtured by heaven and earth can have a terrifying power. It is said that spiritual fires with better birth conditions and longer existence can even produce spiritual intelligence, which is more difficult to deal with than monsters. No wonder the fireball he just sent out was so much more powerful than ordinary ones. Wang Hao hurriedly threw out 2 ice talismans, but the ice wall that condensed for several feet was easily melted by the golden fire eagle, and a large amount of white mist was evaporated. The fire eagle passed through it and rushed straight to Wang Hao. Wang Hao's face changed, and he threw out water and ice talismans continuously, while his body kept retreating, pulling away from the fire eagle. Rumble, with a loud noise, the ice wall was melted into pools of clear water, and the water dragon was evaporated before it approached the fire eagle, leaving nothing behind. The power of the fire eagle seemed to have been weakened only a little bit. Seeing this scene, Wang Hao was stunned. His red lotus true fire was already powerful, but compared with this kind of heaven and earth spiritual fire, it was really a world of difference, a kindergarten, and a 200-kilogram strongman. Xi Zhiheng looked at Wang Hao's embarrassed appearance and sneered, "Die, with these ordinary means of yours, don't think about defending my Qianyang true flame." "It seems that I can only use that," Wang Hao sighed helplessly. He didn't want to use the god-splitting cone at first. After all, his injuries had not recovered. If he forcibly activated the god-splitting cone, even if he could pierce Xijijia's consciousness, he would also suffer some backlash damage, but he couldn't control Qianyang true flame at the moment, so he had to take a risk. Wang Hao continued to retreat, constantly casting talismans and sword lights to weaken the power of the fire eagle transformed by Qianyang true flame. Xi Zhiheng immediately stood up to chase, but at this moment he suddenly paused, and his consciousness was suddenly stabbed fiercely, causing him to feel extremely painful and almost fall to the ground. However, he still stabilized his body, looked at Wang Hao with fear, and took out a first-level burnt talisman from his arms. Spiritual consciousness attack. Fortunately I got a talisman to prevent spiritual consciousness attack in my early years, otherwise you would have succeeded today. Wang Hao smiled bitterly. He was afraid that the enemy would have means to defend, but he didn't expect that there really was one. At this time, the god-splitting cone failed to make a contribution, but the backlash caused Wang Hao's consciousness to be greatly damaged, and his strength fell by another 30%. However, Xi Zhiheng was not feeling well either. Wang Hao's god-splitting cone just cut off his consciousness that was connected to Qianyang true flame, and he had to control it with his consciousness again. The Qianyang true flame actually stopped attacking Wang Hao and struggled in the air, with a tendency to escape from his control. It was originally very difficult to refine the spiritual fire of heaven and earth. Even if you mastered the method, if your strength dropped, you would still be in danger of backlash. Unless you have special means to restrain this true fire, there would be no danger of backlash. Xi Zhiheng was slightly stunned, and hurriedly pinched the seal. The fire eagle showed pain on his face, but Xi Zhiheng's consciousness was also affected by the god-splitting cone, and was damaged. His control was greatly reduced, and he couldn't make the fire eagle surrender. Wang Hao thought of the opportunity, and he couldn't give Xi Zhiheng the opportunity to regain control of the Qianyang true flame. The ninja felt a sharp pain in his mind, and hurriedly ordered the phantom moon butterfly to attack Xi Zhiheng. The phantom moon butterfly flapped its wings and flew high, and two hallucinogenic divine lights shot out. Xi Zhiheng didn't dare to be careless, and hurriedly dodged. He raised his hand and threw out several talismans, which turned into spiritual lights and pounced on the phantom moon butterfly. The defense of the fantasy moon butterfly was already low, and Wang Hao did not dare to let them take it head-on. The fantasy moon butterfly quickly spit out mist and hid itself. At the same time, Wang Hao threw out a spiritual talisman to defend against Xi Zhiheng's attack. This is where the fantasy moon butterfly is embarrassed. They are very powerful, but their attack speed is slow. Once exposed, the enemy can easily dodge. Xi Zhiheng looked anxious, and his hands were constantly changing the spells, trying to recontrol the Qianyang true flame, but Wang Hao would not give him a chance. After hiding itself, the fantasy moon butterfly attacked Xi Zhiheng again from different angles. Xi Zhiheng could only concentrate on dealing with it, otherwise he would be hit by the hallucinogenic divine light if he was not careful. Wang Hao took the opportunity to take several healing pills to stabilize his injuries, but he no longer dared to use methods such as the earthly seal that required a lot of spiritual control. Fortunately, he had many spiritual talismans on him. 100-knife talisman was thrown out, and hundreds of 3-foot-long spiritual knives were transformed in an instant, attacking Xi Zhiheng densely. Xi Zhiheng did not dare to be careless, and quickly took out a small green shield to block in front of him. The spirit knife hit the green shield with a crackling sound of metal. Xi Zhiheng's face became ugly. He thought that he could defeat Wang Hao by releasing the spirit fire, but he did not expect that the other party had a spiritual attack. Although his spiritual injury was not serious and he still attacked the other party, the connection with Qianyang true flame was cut off. He could delay for a while, but what about Xi Jijia? If Xi Jijia lost, could he still live? But he was in the early stage of foundation building after all, and he was at a different level from Wang Hao. His fighting experience was the same as Wang Hao. If Wang Hao had not been injured, he might have been defeated long ago, but at this moment, he had no other choice but to counter the moves. He took out a golden talisman that was shining with spiritual light and threw it at Wang Hao. He only had a few second-level spiritual talismans left. The Xuanhuan shoes under Wang Hao's feet glowed with spiritual light, and he moved a distance. At the same time, he cast several earth wall talismans, and a yellow high wall rose from the ground and blocked in front of him. Boom! A huge golden light lit up, and the yellow high wall was torn into pieces. The powerful air wave blew up a lot of sand and stones. Several golden spiritual swords flew out from it, but after cutting through the earth wall, their power was also very little. Wang Hao sacrificed several fireballs to defeat them. Chapter 169, Conquering the Spiritual Fire. Wang Hao glanced in his storage bag, ready to take out the spiritual talisman again, but his eyes stayed on the two puppets. These two second-level monkey puppets were robbed from Huang Yucheng, and he couldn't refine them yet. The puppets only need to place the spiritual stones, and they will perform tasks according to their orders. Isn't it just right for use at this time? Although the power would be greatly reduced without a lot of spiritual control, it was better than nothing. Wang Hao smiled bitterly. He didn't expect that he had this trump card. Wang Hao quickly took out the monkey puppet. Amidst the sound of the mechanism, two monkey puppets more than 10 feet tall appeared in front of Wang Hao. One of them held a bow and arrow, and the other held a spear. The bow and arrow puppet bent the bow and shot the spiritual arrow at Xi Zhiheng. The spear puppet rushed toward Xi Zhiheng quickly. Xi Zhiheng saw a second-level middle-grade puppet beast appear, and his expression was a little flustered. He really didn't understand why a foundation-building cultivator was so rich. In the past, he relied on many trump cards to suppress others, but today he became the one with fewer trump cards, and this was because the other party had two spirit beasts to chase the family's chi-refining cultivator. Xi Zhiheng suddenly felt bitter in his mouth and took out a low-grade spiritual weapon, which was a small yellow flag. As he waved, yellow sand continued to emerge from it, trapping the two puppets in it. However, it was a low-grade spiritual weapon after all, and its power was a little insufficient to face the middle-grade puppets. It could not hurt them at all, so it could only use yellow sand to trap them. Wang Hao continued to throw talismans at him, and the first-grade high-grade talismans were mixed with second-grade low-grade talismans, fireballs, ice blades, sword shadows, wooden spikes, earth cones, and various spiritual lights smashed toward Xi Zhiheng with great momentum. And Xi Zhiheng had no other defensive spiritual weapons in his hands, so he could only use a small yellow flag to protect his body, but the consequence of this was that the puppet beast escaped and joined the siege on him. Boom! Various attacks hit the yellow sand all over the sky, and suddenly a piece of yellow sand was defeated. A dim yellow flag fell from the battlefield filled with smoke. The flag had been burned with several small holes, and its power was greatly damaged. It was obviously unusable. Taking advantage of Xi Zhiheng's panic, Wang Hao ordered Huanyuti and the puppet to attack together. Xi Zhiheng quickly took out the last two second-level spiritual talismans and threw them out. An ice talisman froze the spear puppet, and a golden sword talisman collided violently with the spiritual arrow shot by the bow and arrow puppet. Boom! The puppet beast's attacks were all blocked, but Xi Zhiheng was illuminated by a hallucinogenic divine light on the corner of his clothes, and he was in a trance for a moment. There was a loud swoosh sound of breaking through the air, and another 100 swords talisman was activated by Wang Hao, and the spiritual sword suddenly appeared and hit Xi Zhiheng from all directions. Xi Zhiheng took out a first-level superior shield for defense, and there was a crackling sound. The shield only lasted for a moment, and a large number of cracks appeared on the surface. A vine suddenly emerged from the ground and wrapped around Xi Zhiheng's legs. Xi Zhiheng was more cautious and added 2 defensive shields to himself. The vines did not hurt him, so he quickly swung his spirit sword to cut off the vines, but Wang Hao's follow-up attack came again in a moment. A green spirit sword with green light came flying and smashed the shield in his hand. Xi Zhiheng was about to add protection for himself, but his spiritual power stagnated. As the battle progressed, the spiritual power in his body was gradually used up. Xi Zhiheng was extremely terrified. The mother-child green light sword arrived in an instant, and the remaining protection around Si Zhiheng was like paper, which was shattered by the mother-child green light sword. In the end, he moved a little with his body skills, so that he was not cut down by Wang Hao's spirit sword on the spot, but his left arm was cut by the mother-child green light sword with a deep wound that could be seen to the bone. Si Zhiheng breathed a sigh of relief, and quickly took out the spirit pill to take it, ready to recover some spiritual power. At this moment, the air in front of him fluctuated slightly, and a flying needle that was almost invisible to the naked eye flew toward Si Zhiheng quickly. It was Wang Hao's last trump card, the white hair needle. When Si Zhiheng found out, it was too late. Si Zhiheng only felt a pain in his chest, and the white hair needle pierced through his body. He looked down and saw a big hole in his chest, and his heart was nowhere to be found. He coughed and spit out a mouthful of blood, his eyes gradually lost focus, and he looked up and fell to the ground. Wang Hao, who was far away, ordered the puppet beast to stab his body with a knife, and then he breathed a sigh of relief and sat on the ground. He did not win this battle easily, mainly because he did not expect the opponent to have a trump card like the Heaven and Earth Spirit Fire. Otherwise, with the large number of spiritual talismans in his hand, the opponent would be dead even if he was in the middle stage of foundation building. Wang Hao observed the Qianyang true flame in the distance and found that without Si Zhiheng's spiritual control, the spiritual fire no longer struggled and was floating quietly in the air. Wang Hao guessed that the spiritual intelligence of this group of spiritual fire should only be in the embryonic stage, and it was not yet considered true spiritual intelligence, otherwise it would be impossible to subdue it with Si Zhiheng's means. Now that he has met it, Wang Hao has no intention of letting go of this ball of Qianyang true flame. After all, his red lotus true fire has the ability to devour spiritual fire. Wang Hao asked the puppet beast to be on guard around him, walked quickly to Si Zhiheng, searched Si Zhiheng's property, and burned his body directly. Looking into the distance, he found that Li Durong and the others were not close, and Wang Hao had no intention of participating. He sat cross-legged, recovering from his injuries while checking Si Zhiheng's storage bag. The main thing was to find a way to subdue the spiritual fire. The Red Lotus Fantasy with Sutra recorded how to devour the spiritual fire of heaven and earth, but if he directly drove the Red Lotus true fire to devour, Wang Hao could not do it at all in his current state. He could only take a step back and take the spiritual fire away first, and then devour it after recovery. Section 88. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After a while, he found a jade slip, which indeed recorded the method of taming the spirit fire. It was unknown where Si Zhiheng got this jade slip from, but Wang Hao felt it was extraordinary. It recorded dozens of heaven and earth spirit fires and the places where they were easily born and existed. Si Zhiheng should have found the Qianyang true flame after getting this jade slip. The method of taming the spirit fire is not difficult, and there are many ways to achieve it, such as suppressing it to surrender, seducing, communicating, besieging, etc. Wang Hao is currently most suitable to use the method of seduction. He took out a fire stone containing the power of the fire spirit. This second-level spiritual material is an excellent material for refining fire spirit tools. Wang Hao slowly placed the fire stone to the side of the Qianyang true flame. Although the Qianyang true flame has not produced complete spiritual intelligence, it has already had a trace of spirituality. Seeing the fire stone, it can't wait to float over and attach to it and devour it. Wang Hao took out only a fist-sized fire stone, which was swallowed up by Qianyang true flame in a short while. From the outside, Qianyang true flame did not change much. Perhaps the fire spirit power contained in this spiritual material was too little to make a change visible to the naked eye. Wang Hao continued to take out the fire stone and kept letting the spiritual fire get closer to him. When Qianyang true flame was close at hand, Wang Hao suppressed his excitement. He slowly extended a trace of his spiritual consciousness to communicate with Qianyang true flame, and at the same time took out a fire attribute spiritual tool so that Qianyang true flame could temporarily attach to it. Qianyang true flame struggled for a moment, but seeing the large amount of fire stone in Wang Hao's hand, he finally couldn't resist the temptation and successfully established spiritual communication with Wang Hao and attached to the spiritual tool. It seems that the spiritual fire of heaven and earth is also a foodie. Wang Hao smiled lightly and said to himself, in fact, what he didn't know was that this ball of Qianyang true flame had not yet taken shape, and had a strong desire for spiritual objects of fire attributes, otherwise Wang Hao would never have subdued him so easily. Xi Zhiheng lacked these spiritual objects, otherwise Qianyang True Flame would not have betrayed him. Chapter 170 Silver Shadow Needle. Wang Hao thought that he must recover from his injuries as soon as possible after returning and absorb this ball of spiritual fire thoroughly, otherwise he might repeat the same mistake in the future. Half an hour later, Yaya flew back with Xiaobai, holding a few storage bags in its mouth. Seeing Wang Hao, it hurried forward and shouted Gaga to ask for credit. I know, Yaya has the greatest credit. Wang Hao soothed its feathers and took out 2 animal nurturing pills to feed them. After waiting for a while, Li Durong and the others also ended the battle and successfully killed Xianxia. Seeing that Wang Hao was fine, the anxious look on his face disappeared, and he said apologetically, I'm sorry, I wanted to help you, but Xianxia tried his best to stop me, and I couldn't get away for a while. Wang Hao smiled and waved his hand. It's okay, I can still deal with an early foundation. Building cultivator. Li Yaozu and Wang Longyu also flew over. Li Yaozu laughed, this Xianxia is also a good person. Knowing that we didn't get much, he took the initiative to send the storage bag. Wang Longyu stroked his beard and laughed, let's check what we have and share it. After all, it's not safe here, so we can leave early. Wang Hao and others asked the Qi refining clan to go outside to guard. They sat together and began to count the spoils. Although Xianxia gave some of his property to several Qi refining cultivators to take away, he still had the most things on him. There were more than 60,000 spirit stones alone, and more than 10 second-level magic tools. This should be all the spiritual tools in the Xi family treasury. Li Yaozu stared at an orange flying boat with burning eyes, and said to Wang Hao and Wang Longyu, 2 Taoist friends, your Wang family already has several flying boats, how about giving this one to my Li family? This flying boat is just a second-level medium-grade spiritual tool. Its speed and carrying capacity are not as good as Wang Hao's Feiyun boat, not to mention his sun and moon shuttle and the one he got from the demon cultivator, so he said, since the senior wants it, just take it. Then I will choose this set of spiritual tools. Wang Hao picked up a set of flying needle-shaped magic tools, silver shadow needles. These flying needles are silver and only the length of a palm. There are 9 in total. Each one is a second-level low-grade magic tool. The grade of the flying needle magic tool that forms a set has reached the level of a top-grade magic tool. It is indeed a sharp weapon for lurking people. Compared with the white-hair divine needle, the white-hair divine needle is more concealed, but its power is not as strong as the set of silver shadow needles. The set of magic tools can be arranged into a formation, and it is extremely difficult to deal with under the mutual blessing of power. The difficulty of refining the flying needle magic weapon is higher than most magic weapons, and a complete set of flying needles is even rarer. Xianxia doesn't know where he got these treasures. CG started to build the family, but they lacked foundation. In addition, CG was a casual cultivator, so they didn't do the farming business of ordinary families at all. Instead, they took a different approach and explored the ruins and hunted monsters. Although it was dangerous and many cultivators of the Xi family died, they also gained a lot. The lucky ones among them were much richer than ordinary foundation-building cultivators. For example, Xianxia and Xi Zhiheng both gained something in their early years, which not only filled the family treasury, but also received key support. Only a small part of these magic weapons were purchased by the Xi family, and most of them were found by the clan members from various ruins and caves. Compared with the flying boat, the flying needle is definitely more valuable, but the flying boat is also valuable. The Li family is in urgent need and is not at a disadvantage. In addition, the Wang family has made greater efforts this time, so they have no objection to letting the Wang family get more. Wang Hao tried to drive some silver shadow needles, but his previous physical injuries had not healed yet, and now his consciousness was also damaged. After injecting spiritual power, he was unable to make all the flying needles fly. Only 3 silver shadow needles were shaking and glowing. Wang Hao thought to himself that this set of flying needles was not used because Xianxia and Xi Zhiheng's consciousness was not strong enough and they could not control it. Then everyone continued to divide. Li Durong chose a yellow shield, Wang Longyu chose an inner armor, and the rest were either of low value or had been damaged in the fight just now, so the four simply divided the points. The spiritual talismans have almost been used up by the people of the Sea family, and there are still a few bottles of spiritual pills. The most precious one is a foundation-building pill. It seems that it was refined not long ago. Wang Hao guessed that it was Burning Sky sect in order to activate these pills. The family sold a batch of them to win over them, and now they are all advantageous to the Wang and Li families. At Wang Hao's insistence, Wang Yaozu did not choose the Foundation Establishment pill, but instead chose a large number of weapon refining materials. These materials obtained from the Sea family's exploration are still very precious, enough for Wang Hao to refine weapons and make puppets for a period of time. In addition, the Wang family also received several second-level demon elixirs, a set of formation flags, and a demon beast egg. It was hard to tell what the demon egg was, but according to Li Durong, Xianxia, a purple cloud eagle was released to help in the battle. This should be the purple cloud eagle's egg. There were two in total, just one for each family. The purple cloud eagle is a kind of raptor that can grow to the second level and high level. Very few can advance to the third level, but it is mediocre in all aspects. Whether it is speed or strength, there is nothing remarkable. It is not even on the spiritual beast list. Wang Hao has no interest in it, however. Due to Wang Hao's influence, many monks in the Wang family now like to raise spiritual beasts. Naturally, someone will exchange them if they are brought back to the family. In addition, there are some jade slips, in which some of the techniques and the inheritance of various arts of cultivating immortals are very good. Only a second-level weapon refining technique can be used to see what the experience is, to confirm and promote the weapon refining skills. This time, 2 more tribesmen were lost. They couldn't escape in time and were affected by their foundation-building fighting skills. Wang Longyu looked a little solemn. Everyone's purpose is to weaken the power of Maple Leaf Square. So far, they have defeated the Gu family and the Sea family, and eliminated 4 foundation builders. However, Wang Hao and Wang Yanji were both seriously injured, and the next battle will still be unfavorable to the Wang family. Hey, Wang Hao sighed and comforted. People can't be resurrected after death. Don't be too sad, Uncle Six. Take good care of their descendants in the future. Although Uncle Yanji and I were seriously injured, our foundation has not been damaged. You will recover after a period of cultivation, don't worry. Li Yaozu also stated that he would definitely help the Wang family and that if the Wang family was in crisis, they would definitely send people to support them. A few people exchanged pleasantries, then packed up and headed back. At Zhemo Peak, where the Sea family is stationed, a middle-aged man is reporting something to Ji Shuguang. Elder Ji, we searched the entire Sigilling Mountain just now and found no survivors. Some elixirs, spiritual trees and even buildings were destroyed by the people from King Niafang. Ji Shuguang's face turned ugly, he waved his hands and sighed, forget it, it seems we are too late. In this case, we should return to Xuanhuan Mountain and prepare for the attack. After hearing this, the monks from each family sighed slightly. In order to attack Qingyuan's sect, Burning Sky sect did not care about their safety. Now that Maple Leaf Fang's strength is greatly damaged, how can it defeat Qingyu Fang? But they didn't dare to say this. After all, they had to rely on the Burning Sky sect. They could only hope that the Burning Sky sect could end the battle quickly and send monks to support them. Ji Shuguang noticed the abnormality and sighed. I also know that this is a bit difficult, but the mission set by the sect must be completed. Even if King Niafang cannot be defeated, you must contain them so that they have no spare power to support Qingyuan's sect. Chapter 171 Recovery from Injury. In Burning Heaven sect, on a certain mountain peak, Sardine Shan was meditating in the main hall. Suddenly, an old man wearing a red robe burst into the hall. Judging from the wrinkles on his face, he was at least 400 years old. When he saw Sha Dingshan, he said with a solemn expression, Junior brother Sha, it's not good. I just got it. Reliable news, that old man Du Guangqiao is really attacking nascent soul. Shadingshan slowly finished the exercise, then opened his eyes and said calmly, Brother Zhu, isn't this what we expected? There is nothing to panic. But what if he succeeds? Zhu Ning still looked flustered. Although he was older and had become a golden elixir earlier, his temper was irritable, so it was never his turn to take charge of the Burning Heaven sect. Sha Dingshan said disapprovingly, "How can Yuaning be so easy? Du Guangqiao should be the infant-forming spiritual object that he obtained from Xianhuan continent a few days ago. Even if he has polished the true essence to an extremely pure level and started to form infants immediately, but it will take at least 2 years to reach the final moment and cause the thunder disaster. And now, it has only been a year, and he can have a baby? Then the nascent soul cultivators are already everywhere in Nanhai." Zhu Ning sat down and poured himself a cup of tea. After drinking it down, he calmed down a bit. "Senior brother, aren't you worried about what trump cards they have? Is going to Qianyuan continent just a cover-up? True card? Senior brother Zhu, are you worried that they have already obtained the infant-forming spiritual object? But if so, Du Guangqiao would have attacked Yuanying long ago, and he has waited for so many years, which is enough to show that Qingyuan's sect has no infant-forming spiritual object at all. Even if there is one, it is the kind with relatively poor effect. Du Guangqiao doesn't dare to take the risk. There is no big mistake in being careful. It is better to be cautious. Should we launch in advance? If we only allow those family forces to attack the affiliated forces of Qingyuan's sect, it will be difficult to achieve good results." Zhu Ning said tentatively. Sha Dingshan shook his head slightly. "Brother, those foundation-building families are irrelevant. I asked them to attack first, just to test Qingyuan's sect and eliminate some unnecessary troubles. If we don't move, Qingyuan's sect will not dare to support the forces under the sect. In this way, they can also achieve some results. Even if they lose, it will not be a big deal. There are so many foundation-building forces that want to be affiliated with my Burning Heaven sect. Just support a few more." It turned out that Burning Heaven sect did not want to launch a war against Qingyuan's sect with its forces. In their eyes, those family forces were just cannon fodder for testing. Even Ji Shuguang and others did not know about this plan. After all, they had to be in contact with those family forces for a long time. If they knew the truth, once they let it slip, it would have a bad impact. If Gu Lizhan and others heard this, they would definitely feel chilled. If he had not followed the instructions of Burning Heaven sect, how could he go to the Xuanhuan mountain of the Yi family, and how could his family be breached? Shadingshan doesn't care about their lives. Even if they are foundation-building cultivators in the sect, he can abandon them in order to take down the 4th-level spiritual mountain of Qingyuan's sect. Wang Hao quickly returned to Wangjiling, informed Wang Yanzhao, and then entered the cave to heal his wounds. When attacking Gu's family, Maple Leaf Square had already begun to dispatch chi-refining cultivators. According to the distance, the war could start in no more than a month, and he had to race against time. The physical injury was fine, but Wang Hao could not recover from the injury to the soul in such a short time, so, he planned to refine the condensing spirit pill. As a second-level upper-grade pill that promotes the growth of the soul, it naturally has a part of the function of nourishing the consciousness, which is not as good as the pill that specifically heals the consciousness, but at this moment, Wang Hao has no better choice. Before, he was reluctant to use fertilizers to ripen the fruit, but now at a critical moment, Wang Hao also spent a lot of money, emptied the farm warehouse directly to buy fertilizers, and directly omitted the remaining 8 years of growth time of the Yunshan fruit. Wang Hao is now experienced in alchemy, and he got 2 concentration pills without any problems. Looking at the round purple pill in his hand, Wang Hao took a deep breath and swallowed it. During the meditation, Wang Hao frowned from time to time, and sometimes relaxed, and his injuries continued to recover. 20 days later, Wang Hao walked out of the cave. Judging from his expression, his injuries were obviously recovering well. As soon as Wang Hao left the cave, he flew directly to the top of the mountain to meet Wang Yanzhao. Seeing Wang Hao appear in front of him with a rosy complexion, Wang Yanzhao smiled with relief. "It's great that you are okay. Yesterday, the Lei family sent a message that the people of Maple Leaf Square have crossed the border. Their Qi training disciples will be able to reach the Lei family in 10 days at most. If the foundation-building cultivators launch a surprise attack, the battle may be in these 2 days. That this kind of battle is different from the surprise attack launched by Wang Hao and others. There are many cultivators, and they can only be carried by a large flying boat like a battleship. Maple Leaf Square obviously does not have this condition, so it can only use the ordinary way of rushing. Wang Hao felt that it was no longer meaningful for them to organize elite forces for a surprise attack, mainly because after losing 2 families, their elite forces were already equal to or even slightly weaker than the 5 Qingyo families. However, since the territory controlled by the Burning Heaven sect was more maturely developed, they also controlled more mortals. With a larger base of mortals, they could cultivate more cultivators. Although the limitation of the foundation building pills resulted in a small number of foundation building cultivators, they had more low-level cultivators below. For example, the C family, which had been established for only 200 years, actually had more than 100 cultivators, while the Wang family had developed for 400 or 500 years before it barely broke 100. Although CG did not play by the rules and relied on the criticized method of borrowing seeds, he only borrowed half of the cultivators, and the remaining half were all naturally bred by the C family, the Yi family, the He family, the Gu family, etc., all had more than 300 Qi training cultivators. Even if they only sent out half of them, the number still exceeded the 5 Qingyo families. However, speculation is speculation, and he can't control the enemy's thoughts after all. Maybe Maple Leaf Square is planning a surprise attack. The Wang family must be on guard. From the map, the area where Maple Leaf Square and Qingyo Square border is not very large. Unlike the front line of the Wang family, the Li family and Qingyo Square city when fighting against the Beast Tide, the Lei family and the Zhao family have become the forefront at this time. Chapter 89. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The safest family is the Li family. They are in the area close to Xuanhuan Mountain. Wang family's Ruojuan Mountain is also relatively safe. That's why Wang Hao dared to propose to abandon the defense force of Ruojuan Mountain and fully guard Wangjialing. After all, if Zhao family loses, Wangjialing will become the front line. From the situation, it is better for Wang family and Li family to divide part of their forces to support Zhao family, and Qing family to support Lei family. But this is not to defend the city. It is safe to defend the city wall. The territory of Zhao family and Lei family is very large. They can only defend Lingshan. The people of Maple Leaf Square can completely cross their territory to attack Wang family. Therefore, without sufficient interests, Wang family and Li family will never support them. Of course, if the main force of Maple Leaf Square is indeed besieging Zhao family and Lei family, Wang family and Li family will not sit idly by. Everyone understands the principle of lips and teeth, but the support must be when the main force of Maple Leaf Square is clear, and Wang family and Li family guarantee that they are not threatened. The 5 families of Qingyo also communicated and supported each other when necessary. I don't know how the Lei family persuaded the Qing family and the Zhao family. The 2 families actually supported the Lei family. The Zhao family can understand it. After all, they are at the forefront and are relatively weak. The pressure of defending alone is very high. It is almost impossible to defend. For the sake of the family, it is not surprising that they went to the Lei family. The Qing family is at the center of the 5 families. No matter which direction the enemy or monster attacks, his family is relatively safe, but the limit of this safety is also limited. I think Lei Liheng must have paid a bargaining chip that they can't refuse. Chapter 172. The Lei family was attacked, the 3 families joined forces, and their safety was guaranteed. If Fenjifang divided its troops to attack them, they would not be able to break the formation at all. If all of them were pressed, the Lei family could hold out for a few days. The support of the Wang family and the Li family would arrive soon. The destructive power of war is huge. No one wants a war to happen at their doorstep. This situation is what Wang Hao wants to see. On the other side, Ji Shuguang led 18 foundation-building monks and 800 Qi-training monks from 4 families, crossing the border in a mighty force and heading straight for the Lei family. They had planned well before, dividing into 3 teams to attack 3 families respectively, but now the power was not enough to support them to do so, and the news had been leaked. All the families in Qingyafang were on guard. Even at this moment, they had seen spirit beasts and birds spying on their whereabouts several times. They also had spies. After the lesson of the last Yi family, the spies were much more careful. They also knew the movements of the Zhao family and the Qing family in advance. Even if they could plunder some resources from these two families, it was not meaningful. Ji Shuguang was originally standing from the perspective of the sect, and only hoped to complete the tasks assigned by the sect. As for the income of Maple Leaf Square, he didn't care, so he directly ordered the army to press on and attack the Lei family with all his strength. It was also called revenge for the Gu family and the Si family. Gu Lizhan was naturally happy. The other families complained at first, but they all kept silent after Gu Lizhan promised that as long as the Gu family found their own things, everything else would belong to them. Qingjiwanmen still did not move. Fenchen sect attacked more than Qingniafang. Other families were also attacked. Qingjiwanmen acted like this, so everyone had no hope. Some small families knew that they could not defend themselves, and they began to retreat with their families. Some went to unite with other families, and some went to Qingyiwanfang city. For the families who came to seek refuge, Qingjiwanmen accepted them and arranged their residences. After all, the war was imminent and Qingjiwanmen was short of manpower. More strength meant more protection. The Wang family would naturally not retreat to Qingyiwanfang city, at least not for now. Once tied to the chariot of Qingjiwanmen, their fate would not be in their own hands. Qingjiwanmen did not force an order, but in order to deal with the crisis, they had begun to spend a lot of money to hire some casual cultivators, knowing that they would be cannon fodder. Many casual cultivators still joined Qingyuan's sect. After all, as long as they joined, Qingyuan's sect would provide them with the skills and elixirs that they usually did not get. For these casual cultivators, it was difficult to resist the temptation. A few days later, Ji Shuguang and the monks of Maple Leaf Square finally arrived near Leiming Mountain of Lei's family. Under the command of several monks who were proficient in battle formations, the Qi training monks were divided into 8 teams, each with 100 people, to attack a formation I together, while the foundation-building monks stood aside to contain Lei Liheng and other foundation-building monks. Leiming Mountain is a second-grade upper-grade spiritual mountain. The Lei family has a second-grade upper-grade 5-element 4-image formation defense, with a total of 9 formation eyes. Attacking 1 point will attract 9 points of joint attack. If you want to break the formation, there is no better way. You can only attack from multiple points on all sides at the same time, so that the formation cannot take care of the head and tail. Under the urging of Ji Shuguang, 800 Qi training monks lined up in a tight formation and came forward, using various magic weapons one after another, constantly attacking the protective shield of the formation. Although no foundation-building cultivators attacked, the noise caused by so many Qi training cultivators attacking together was huge. For a moment, Leiming Mountain was shaken. If it weren't for the protection of the formation, the top of the mountain would have been flattened by them. In the formation, Lei Liheng's face showed no panic. The opponent's foundation-building cultivators were twice as many as theirs, and the number of Qi training cultivators was more than 3 times, but with the blessing of the formation and the various trump cards they prepared in advance, they were still confident in defending. Besides, it was only a group of Qi training cultivators attacking now, so it was not time to be nervous. Gu Lizhan and others saw that the Qi training cultivators could not threaten the formation, so they had to take action themselves. Unfortunately, as long as they took action, Lei Liheng and others would intervene, leaving them no chance to break the formation. There are spiritual veins within the formation, but the Maple Leaf Square monks outside the formation can only rely on spiritual elixirs to restore their spiritual power. Although the Leiming Mountain spiritual veins can hardly support the consumption of the 3 Lei Zhaoqing monks except for maintaining the operation of the formation, but in general they are more economical than those in Maple Leaf Square. After half a month of this, Yi Jingshan and others tried their best but still couldn't break the formation. Once they even used the formation-breaking talisman to open a gap, but what they didn't expect was that there was a small formation within the Leiming Mountain formation. They still couldn't break the formation. Before the small formation was broken, the large formation had been repaired. After such a long delay, the people of Maple Leaf Square were already a little overwhelmed. They are here to steal money, not waste it here, although they may be the ones who win in the end if they run out of ammunition and food. How much oil and water do the monks of Thunder Mountain have left after running out of ammunition and food? This is not the result they want. Elder Ji, this won't work. When will the sect take action? Can you give us an accurate answer? Yi Jingshan asked with a bitter face. The Yi family has the most people this time, and naturally consumes the most. 50 years of family wealth has already been filled in. If nothing is gained, the Yi family may not be able to cultivate a foundation-building monk in the next few decades. Ji Shuguang was also confused. The ancestor of the sect's golden elixir took action at the same time as he was told. He really didn't know what the situation was now, so he could only prevaricate. The sect has its own considerations. You can take Qingniafang. The damage is bigger, but with these spiritual mountains, you can make money back in a few years with good management. You must know that Qingniafang and Xuanhuan Mountain are closest to each other, and have the most casual cultivators. Any business can earn more than Maple Leaf Fang. Several times higher. At first, everyone still believed in Ji Shuguang's painting, but now, although Qingniafang is good, it has to be conquered, He Junyi said. Currently, there are 3 monks from Qingniafang in Leiming Mountain. If we want to defeat them, the price we need to pay is too high. Su Minglang frowned and said, yeah, who would have thought that the Zhaoqing family would be so decisive that they could even give up their own spiritual mountain and the mortals of the family? What's the use of talking about this now? Are you going to give up? Then these half a month of time and resources have been wasted? Gu Lizhan said dissatisfied. Yi Jingshan narrowed his eyes and said, Brother Gu, don't worry, we must fight Qingniafang, but fighting head-on is not the way to go, we should use outsmarting. Everyone looked at Ji Shuguang, and it was he who made the final decision. Who was the elder of the sect. Ji Shuguang felt guilty and could not force them to continue attacking Thunder Mountain. He said apologetically, I am not a person who doesn't know how to adapt. If you have a good strategy, you can tell me. Seeing Ji Shuguang's attitude, everyone also started chatting and started discussing each other. Su Minglang groaned, since the Lei family is difficult to win, we might as well try to attack the Wang family or the Li family. Seeing everyone's eyes turn towards him, he chuckled and analyzed. The 3 families of Lei, Zhao, and Cheng have been able to gather together to resist us for such a long time, but the Wang and Li families did not show up. Which shows that there is also something dirty between them. If we then attack the Wang and Li families, the monks from these 3 families will probably not support us. It will be much easier to fight against those 2 families than together. Chapter 173 Menacing that He Junyi clapped his hands and applauded, this is a good idea. In addition, once we withdraw our troops, the Zhao and Qing families may worry that we will go to their Lingshan mountain, and they will definitely be worried. We should keep an eye on them. If they dare to come out, we can kill them directly. No, once we reach the formation, they are no match for us. Ji Shuguang added, why let them guess? We might as well go to the Lingshan of Zhao Cheng's family and search it. I don't believe that their people have really evacuated. If we encounter them, we will kill Li Wei directly. But isn't this going to create a deadly feud with them? He Junyi disagreed and said worriedly, even if there are people left behind, they are probably old, weak, sick and disabled. I'm afraid they will be killed. Before he finished speaking, Gu Lizhan snorted coldly, we have already reached this situation, why are we afraid of revenge? Aren't they the ones who killed the monks of my Gu family and Si family? If you don't want to take action, I can do it. That is. The head of the Gu family is right, Ji Shuguang said directly, the Zhao and Qing families evacuated in a hurry, and there must be some resources in the family's spiritual mountain that they have not taken away. I think it is better for the Gu family to just choose a place and re-establish the clan. Thank you, Elder Ji. Gu Lizhan hurriedly stepped forward and saluted. No need to thank me, you deserve this. He stood up and looked around for a week before saying, that's it, let's withdraw our troops first and go to Cheng and Zhao's Lingshan to get some interest. If they dare to attack, we will go back and destroy them and continue to attack the Lei family. If they continue to be cowardly, we will go to the Wang family. As soon as they took action, they were discovered by Lei Liheng and others. It was impossible to cover up the retreat of so many monks. Ji Shuguang did not hide it at all and just withdrew in a swaggering manner. Lei Liheng immediately called other foundation builders to discuss. Although Zhao Gaofeng and others were worried about their family's spiritual mountain, they didn't dare to take people back at this moment. Since they came to the Lei family, some things were destined to be given up. They are mentally prepared for this. At the same time, they also sent letters to the Wang family and the Li family, informing them of the movements of the Maple Leaf Square monks. Although the Wang and Li families did not come to support them, they also had no intention of supporting the Wang and Li families. However, the news was still exchanged. If this was the case, if you don't do it, you will really fall out in the future. The Wang family immediately started preparations after receiving the news. Wang Hao and Wang Yanzhao discussed and decided to give up their share of the next foundation building pill of the Ningyuan fruit in exchange for the support of the Li family. If the fruit tree can still produce 3 condensation fruits next time, the Li family can get a share of 2 fruits. 1 condensation fruit can be refined into at least 4 foundation establishment pills with Wang Hao's success rate. This is a big bargaining chip. Li Yaozu agreed after weighing the pros and cons. It's not just for 2 foundation establishment pills. If the Wang family is gone, no one will refine the foundation establishment pill. What can they do even if they enjoy the condensation fruit tree completely? They can't refine it themselves, so don't they have to offer it to Qingyuan's sect or cooperate with other alchemy families? Or they will return to the embarrassing situation of relying on the Qingyuan sect's foundation establishment pill auction held every 20 years. Over the years, the Li family first got 2 foundation establishment pills from the Wang family because of the condensation fruit tree, and later supported the Wang family to get the demon pill and got another one. Wang Hao bought 4 for the Li family overseas, got 2 for the encirclement and suppression of the demon head, and got 1 from the C family. All 10 foundation building pills were related to the Wang family, so even if Wang Hao didn't make such a big offer, they were considering supporting the Wang family. The Li family originally had 2 foundation building masters, and 7 of the 10 foundation building pills were used, 5 of them succeeded, and 2 were overseas. Now the Li family has 5 foundation building masters. The Wang family currently has 10 foundation building masters left behind in Wangjiling, including Wang Hao, Wang Yanzhao, Wang Longyu, Wang Yanji, and Wang Wenyuan. Together with the 5 from the Li family who came to support, there are exactly 10, more than the 3 families of Lei, Zhao, and Cheng. Of course, we can't just count the number. Wang Yanji has not recovered from his injury, and Wang Guang'an, who is at the peak of foundation building, is not at home. Wang Wenyuan and several members of the Li family have just built their foundations, so the overall quality is still somewhat inferior. The Li family gave up Lingshan and came here, and they needed to pack a lot of things. They arrived at Wangjiling almost at the same time as the cultivators from Maple Leaf Square. Wangjiling's formation is the Dazzling Sky Fire formation, which has stronger attack power and slightly weaker defense. It is easier to break than the Lei family's formation. However, if operated properly, it can also kill enemy monks on a large scale. The best defense is offense. There are only 4 formation eyes. Wang Yanzhao simply assigned them to be led by Wang Hao, Wang Longyu, Wang Yanzhao and Li Yaozu, each with a foundation building monk and 30 Qi training clan members to guard. Wang Yanji and the remaining foundation building and Qi training clan members are responsible for mobile support. In order to take care of Wang Hao, Li Yaozu assigned Li Durong, who has the strongest combat power except for the 4 of them, to him. In fact, Wang Hao understood his meaning and wanted the 2 to get along more and make good things happen. Unfortunately, Wang Hao and Li Durong did not mean that. The 2 knew each other in their 20s during the Qi training period and experienced life and death together, but they both put the Tao first and never considered becoming Taoist partners. The monks of Maple Leaf Square learned from the experience of attacking the Lei family's formation and no longer attacked in a rigid manner. From the beginning, they were led by the foundation building monks and attacked with all their strength. Low-level formations are mostly similar, and it is difficult to break through by attacking only one point, so the monks of Maple Leaf Square adopted the method of attacking from all sides, with 4 or 5 foundation building monks on each side. There were 5 foundation building monks entering the formation from Wang Hao's side. As soon as these 5 people entered the formation, they took out their talismans and magic tools and attacked the formation, and Wang Hao and others who were waiting in the formation, seeing all kinds of light blooming on the formation curtain, Wang Hao was not panicked. He raised his hand, and the chi-refining monks understood and began to wave the formation flags and inject spiritual power. The formation kept changing, and countless fireballs condensed in the sky. Under the command of the monks, they smashed into the Maple Leaf Square monks who were attacking the formation outside. The foundation building monks were fine. No one was injured, whether they held up the defense or moved away. Those chi-refining monks were not so good. If it was one fireball, it would be fine, but usually there were more than a dozen fireballs attacking one person. In a hurry, it was inevitable that they could not defend, and dozens of monks lost their lives in an instant. Seeing that the situation was unfavorable, Yi Jingshan looked at another foundation-building cultivator and took out a formation-breaking talisman from his arms. They had used this formation-breaking talisman once in the Lei family, and it worked quite well. It caused the mountain to shake violently through its huge power, and then destroyed the foundation of the formation. Once the foundation of the formation was damaged, loopholes might appear, and they could attack in one fell swoop. Yi Jingshan did not use it blindly, but contacted the cultivators attacking from other positions and sacrificed 2 formation-breaking talismans together. As soon as the formation-breaking talisman touched the formation, it made a loud rumbling sound, and the entire mountain of Wangjiling shook violently in an instant. The cultivators of the Wang and Li families were all staggering, and only the foundation-building cultivators such as Wang Hao could barely maintain their bodies. They hurriedly injected spiritual power into the eye of the formation, but they still could not stop the power of the formation-breaking talisman, and the formation curtain of the formation became thinner. Seeing this effect, Yi Jingshan immediately called on the monks of Maple Leaf Square to desperately attack the formation. Various magic tools and talismans of various colors kept hitting the formation from all directions. Rumble. Although Wang Hao and his men tried their best to maintain it, the ground veins were shaking, the foundation of the formation was damaged, and the monks on the mountain were fewer than those in Maple Leaf Square. In the end, the people of Maple Leaf Square opened a gap in the formation. Fortunately, this gap was only in their direction, and the other 3 directions were still maintained by the formation curtain. Wang Hao activated the sound transmission talisman on his waist and called for mobile force support. At the same time, he looked at Li Durong. The 2 of them hunted monsters together for many years. She naturally understood what Wang Hao meant. Since the formation had been broken, it was difficult for them to resist it by themselves. So the 2 of them slapped their storage bags, and a set of formation flags appeared in their hands in an instant. Chapter 174 Fierce Battle. The 5 elements enemy array was originally used to hunt monsters, but it was enough to temporarily block this gap. Section 90. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Although they couldn't trap the foundation-building cultivators for too long, Wang Hao and Li Durong would not be idle. Even if they couldn't kill 1 or 2, they could still free up their hands to repair the formation. Wang Hao distributed the formation flags, and more than a dozen Chi-training clansmen immediately flew to various directions with the light body technique to cover the gap. Yi Jingshan saw a gap in the formation and hurriedly called many cultivators to rush in, but after they entered, they found that they had been completely covered by the 5 elements enemy trapping formation. Wang Hao waved the formation flag in his hand, and the entrance they came in was also closed. If the power in his hand was enough, Wang Hao really wanted to kill them one by one. You take people to repair the formation, and I will have fun with them. Wang Hao turned around and said, releasing 4 spirit beasts and 2 second-level puppets, and then rushed into the formation. The 5 elements enemy trapping formation not only has many illusions, but also launches 5-element attacks. It is not harmful to foundation-building cultivators, but Chi-training cultivators are still in danger. A foundation-building cultivator from the Yi family rushed too fast and was separated from the others. Now there were only 3 Chi-training cultivators around him. Wang Hao secretly thought of an opportunity and controlled the 5 elements enemy trapping formation to attack him fiercely, and suddenly rushed out when he was in a panic. The foundation-building cultivator looked about the same age as Wang Hao, not too old, and had the 4th level of foundation building, which meant that he had good talent. The foundation-building cultivator from the Yi family exclaimed when he saw Wang Hao, but was not afraid. He controlled the flying sword to meet Wang Hao. He felt that there were 5 foundation-building cultivators on his side, and support would arrive in a moment, so he naturally did not think that Wang Hao could kill him. Wang Hao did not dare to use the God-splitting cone rashly now. If the opponent also had a means to defend against the attack of the divine consciousness, he would not be able to deal with the next battle under the backlash, but with other means, he was confident that he could kill this person. The sword lights of the two collided with each other, and Wang Hao had a slight advantage, coupled with the attack evolved from the formation. The foundation-building cultivator of the Yi family was slightly panicked for a moment. At this moment, a white light hit the body of the Yi family foundation cultivator at lightning speed. It was the fantasy moon butterfly hidden by Wang Hao. The fantasy moon butterfly was only of the second grade lower grade, and it was not very effective against the mid-stage foundation cultivator. However, the man was hit by the hallucinogenic divine light and fell into a trance for a moment. The result of being distracted in such a dangerous battlefield is self-evident. Wang Hao, who was experienced in combat, naturally would not give him a chance to come back to his senses. He stabbed with a sword, and for safety, he released the Yao Tian bowl and the Baihao divine needle at the same time. He was determined to kill this man on the spot, but a 5th-level foundation cultivator suddenly broke out from the thick fog behind him. Seeing that the Yi family cultivator was in danger, he quickly summoned a large shield to block the Yi family cultivator. At the same time, he threw out an iron ball in his hand, ready to take Wang Hao's flying sword. Wang Hao sneered and ordered Yaya and the puppet beast to attack him. People are indeed selfish. When he saw himself in danger, the man immediately took back the shield in front of the Yi family cultivator and blocked himself. Wang Hao's Qingguang sword was blocked by the person who came, but the Yao Tian bowl that came later directly smashed the protective spiritual light of the Yi family's foundation building, and the Baihao divine needle that came later directly pierced through his head. The Yi family cultivator fell into the illusion and died before he came out. Wang Hao looked coldly at another foundation-building cultivator. Judging from the logo on his clothes, this person looked like a member of the He family. Wang Hao did not intend to let him go. If he joined the remaining 3 people, his chance of killing would become very slim. Although Wang Hao, together with the spirit beast and the puppet, could barely be considered as 4 foundation-building forces, the enemy was not fighting alone. They also had spirit beasts and other means. If it was 2 people, Wang Hao could still deal with it, but he was not so good at dealing with 4 people. Wang Hao used various methods to smash the big shield and protective aura of He Jia's foundation building. When he was about to end his life, Wang Hao suddenly became alert and looked up to see a treasure pavilion-shaped magic weapon flying over. Wang Hao did not dare to be careless and quickly dodged. Seeing that the place where he had just stayed had been smashed into a big hole, he secretly said that he was lucky, but he also missed the best opportunity to kill He Jia's foundation building. Fellow Daoist He, don't panic, I'm here to help you. Yi Jingshan walked out from the back, stretched out his hand, recalled the treasure pavilion magic weapon, walked to the front of He Jia's foundation building, and protected him. Senior Yi, this man just killed fellow Daoist Qingla, we can't let him go. The man saw Yi Jingshan and his expression was very calm. Yi Jingshan was in the late stage of foundation building. In his opinion, he could definitely kill Wang Hao. He was injured by Wang Hao, and Wang Hao's death was not enough to eliminate his hatred. What, Qingla is dead? Yi Jingshan was shocked. Yi Qingla was the next head of the family he trained. He was strong and strategic, but he was killed. Yi Jingshan turned his head and stared at Wang Hao, spitting out a few words from his teeth. You, damn it, killing intent. Senior, be careful. This person has a spirit beast and 2 puppet beasts to help him. He has many magic weapons in his hands. Brother Qingla was accidentally killed by his sneak attack. He Jia's foundation building added fuel to the fire, further arousing Yi Jingshan's anger. Yi Jingshan is not a brainless person. Since Wang Hao can kill Qingla, even if it is a sneak attack, his strength will not be low. He is very angry and wants to kill Wang Hao immediately, but for safety, he carefully observed Wang Hao and found that Wang Hao was only at the 5th level of foundation building. He felt that he had a good chance of winning with his strength and experience, and he felt a little relieved, so he immediately took action and offered 2 magic weapons to attack Wang Hao in succession. Wang Hao saw this and could only hold back the 2 men. The other 3 foundation-building cultivators and other chi-training clansmen could also use the formation to temporarily hold them back. The influence of the formation-breaking talisman on the formation was also limited. As long as Li Durong was given about a quarter of an hour, the formation could be repaired. Once the formation is repaired, if the monks of Maple Leaf Square dare to stay in the formation, Wang Hao can close the door and beat the dog, and use the formation to kill them one by one. If they withdraw, it will be more difficult to enter the formation again, unless they still have the second-level formation-breaking talisman. But this kind of talisman is rare and valuable, and Wang Hao does not believe that they have a large number of formation-breaking talismans. The fact is similar to what Wang Hao expected. The Burning Heaven sect gave Maple Leaf Square a total of 8 formation-breaking talismans, 4 of which were used in the Lei family, and now 2 were used in the Wang family, leaving them with 2, so if they miss this opportunity, they will only have 1 chance to break through the Wang family's formation. Yi Jingshan and his companions also understood this truth. They did not want to waste this hard-won opportunity. So even if Wang Hao did not kill his clansmen, he would kill Wang Hao. Only in this way could he break the 5 elements enemy trapping formation with all his strength, kill his way out and completely destroy the center of the Wang family formation, so that all the Maple Leaf Square monks attacking from other directions could kill their way in. The 5 elements enemy trapping formation was specially developed for monster hunting, and it was more targeted at monsters that could not fly. So as long as the monks of Maple Leaf Square discovered this, the foundation-building monks would fly directly into the air and it would be easy to break it. Wang Hao took advantage of the time difference and repaired the formation before they discovered this shortcoming. With the reminder of the He family's foundation-building monks, Yi Jingshan had a targeted defense against Wang Hao's methods. After repelling Wang Hao's attack again, he couldn't help but sneer, "Wang's son, have you run out of tricks? Surrender quickly, and I will give you a quick death." Chapter 175 Repel the enemy. That being said, he was still very afraid of Wang Hao. He was in the late stage of foundation building, and he only had 1 top-grade spiritual weapon, 1 mid-grade defensive spiritual weapon, and 1 low-grade attack flying sword. As for Wang Hao, the 3 items he had used were all top-grade spiritual weapons, which was very rare among the family's foundation-building cultivators. His treasure pavilion-shaped heavy-duty top-grade spiritual weapon was used to contain Wang Hao's Yaotian bowl, and he could only use a low-grade spiritual sword to attack Wang Hao. Compared with Wang Hao's mother-child Qingguang's sword, the power was much worse. So even though his magic power was not as good as Yi Jingshan, with the sharp magic weapon, Wang Hao could hold out with Yi Jingshan for a while. Besides, he still had 2 top-grade spiritual weapons, 2 Hun Yin and Yining Needle, which he had not used. Even the Baihao Divine Needle, which was waiting to be fired, gave Yi Jingshan a headache. He had to pay attention all the time to avoid being attacked. With such a distraction, Wang Hao, who was focused on attacking, seemed calm. Seeing that the magic weapon could not win, Yi Jingshan thought that he should change his strategy and win with magic. Immortal cultivators can practice magic with different powers at each stage. He believed that with his deep magic power, he would definitely gain an advantage in the confrontation of magic. In the meantime, he made a single hand stroke, and an ice flower appeared in front of him, hitting Wang Hao with a terrifying low temperature that made people tremble. Wang Hao smiled lightly. In terms of magic, he might not be as good as the opponent, but he had a lot of spiritual talismans. He could draw the second-level low-grade talismans himself, plus the ones he exchanged from the Li family and collected over the years, which were enough to deal with the opponent's magic. However, Wang Hao did not reveal his trump card first, but played a fire lotus to deal with it. True fire against ice lotus, water and fire met, and a violent explosion suddenly broke out. Wang Hao's mana was low, and water-attributed spells inherently restrained fire-attributed spells. Wang Hao suffered a little from this attack, but the remaining power of the ice lotus was not enough to threaten Wang Hao. Seeing that his ice lotus was effective, Yi Jingshan launched it repeatedly, determined to freeze Wang Hao into an ice sculpture before stopping. The He family foundation was also ready to make a move, ready to give Wang Hao a fatal blow at any time. Wang Hao directly ordered 2 puppet beasts to entangle the He family foundation. One of the early foundation builders, plus being injured by Wang Hao, was enough for the two puppet beasts to deal with. At the same time, a falling stone talisman was released, which made Yi Jingshan exhausted and no longer had the energy to release the ice lotus. If the stalemate continued, Wang Hao had a good chance of winning. After all, he still had a spirit beast, but at this moment, a maple leaf square foundation cultivator suddenly flew into the air on a sword, and the secret of the 5 elements trapped enemy formation was still discovered. The foundation building cultivator's eyes fixed, and when he saw Li Durong and the many chi cultivating cultivators of the Wang family who were manipulating the formation outside the field, he snorted coldly, and swept out with a sword to kill the 2 Wang family cultivators holding the formation flags on the spot. Li Durong quickly ordered everyone to change the formation and hide herself, while she took out the flying sword and prepared to stop this person. Yi Jingshan looked up and shouted, "Dao Yu Chui, come and help me. Kill this guy." Li Durong must not stop to repair the formation, and then Wang Hao asked Yaya and Xiao Bai to contain this person. He had been keeping the 2 spirit beasts in use just to guard against the 2 foundation building cultivators trapped in the formation. This person was also in the middle stage of foundation building, but he had the cultivation of the 6th level of foundation building, and his strength was very strong. The 2 spirit beasts joined forces to barely stop him. As soon as they started fighting, Xiao Bai was knocked out. Fortunately, Xiao Bai had thick skin and flesh, so he was not seriously injured by this attack. Wang Hao quickly ordered Xiao Bai to use long-range attacks and not to get close. He was at a disadvantage as soon as they started fighting. If he continued to get close, he would inevitably be killed by this person if he was not careful. Xiao Bai has been with Wang Hao for decades, and Wang Hao did not want it to be injured. Just when Xiao Bai could not resist, Yaya quickly flapped her wings and sent out 2 lightning bolts. Yaya's attack has reached the 2nd level middle grade. Even if this person is 1 step away from the late stage of foundation building, he must be careful to deal with it. He can only give up chasing Xiao Bai and free up his hands to resist Yaya's attack. Yaya and Xiao Bai cooperated with each other and would not be defeated in a short time. Wang Hao was relieved. As for the last foundation building cultivator who was still trapped in the formation, the other Chi training clan members were enough to deal with him, and Li Durong was on the sidelines, so there wouldn't be any big accidents. Wang Hao began to concentrate on dealing with Yi Jingshan, but he tried twice to let the fantasy moon butterfly launch the psychedelic divine light, but Yi Jingshan, who had been informed in advance by the He family cultivator, dodged it. Time passed so quickly, and the formation was repaired bit by bit, and Yi Jingshan and others began to worry. Finally, seeing that there was no hope of breaking the formation, they turned to hunting down the Wang family Chi training cultivators, thinking that killing one more person would make it easier to attack the formation next time. The 5 elements enemy trapping formation has no protective bonus for the cultivators themselves. The Wang family Chi training cultivators rarely pay attention, and it is easy for the maple leaf square foundation building cultivators to seize the opportunity to kill them. However, at this time, the mobile force of Wangjiling came to support and was supplemented by a new force of foundation building, and the situation was deadlocked again. Seeing the dead and wounded tribesmen, Wang Hao didn't care about the heartache. He took the opportunity of Yi Jingshan to attack a tribesman and used the white hair magic needle to stab him. "Humph, I have been on guard against you, a dirty guy." Yi Jingshan turned around and sneered. A small shield suddenly appeared in front of him and blocked the route of the white hair magic needle. Wang Hao's mouth curled up slightly. Really? That as he said that, he turned all his means to attack the He family foundation on the side. This person was already struggling to deal with 2 puppets. How could he take Wang Hao's sudden attack? "Senior Yi, save me!" He family foundation shouted loudly. "How dare you, rat!" Yi Jingshan's body suddenly accelerated, trying to intercept Wang Hao's attack.